Yes, people, welcome to the Manchester United big rebuild. This ain't just a short fix. This is a fix in a long-term project. Making sure this Man United team become the best in the world. Look at the players we've got, and obviously, this is themed under Michael Carrick, the manager of Man United, and potentially the long-term one, if he gets given this job on the permanent, as we need to keep them going with live points enabled. We want to be winning the Champions League with Manchester United here, not just today, but overall in a massive rebuild. It's going to take hours, episodes, everything. Third position should get us into the Champions League next year. There's Arsenal on top. Manchester City obviously in second, playing that cup and just winning it. So the rivals are doing well. Arsenal, we're still not guaranteed Champions League football. We've still got to get it cooking because we are going to be playing games here today with Bruno Fernandes, the best player, and Burmo, Cunha, Casemiro. De Ligt does have an injury. He's out for 3 weeks. Same as Leacher. He's always injured as the butcherer. I hope to get him fit at some point. Harry Maguire is suspended. He got a red card against Bournemouth in the last Prem game. Got to make a decision on Rashford. Same as Onana, but that is an easy one because we've got Senny Lemons in goal. I'm going to try and find some face mods. We've got Shea Lacey down here. Fletcher, and actually the Fletcher twins, Matanto, or Mantato, I'm going to get his name right, who can potentially play a lot of youth players. I've got my Man United kit out. Maybe one point in this rebuild I'll show you who the name on the back is. But for now, we've got to get cooking. Michael Carrick has no European football. I do want to play today until the end of the season, securing Champions League spots. And then if we're good enough, we can actually stop doing that. I'm going to go with a high line, and we can play youth if we are guaranteed it. He has favoured Brian and Burmo up top. Šeško on off the bench, as I am going to go with that lineup. Bruno Fernandes, he can actually be a shadow striker because he's the cog in this United team. Obviously going to be the captain. Don't have many position swaps to make, but with how Ruben Amorim has the team, we actually do need to change it with Harry Maguire out of his contract. Malacia, Heaton and Casemiro. With him already announcing he is leaving, I'm not going to re-sign him. And instead, I'm going to look to the youth, which Michael Carrick, well, I don't think he actually came from. I'm thinking of Scholesy, but we are going to try and utilise this. We're going to try and get the new class of 2026 involved. First in England, the English scout looking for a centre mid, just like Michael Carrick. I'm going to buy a lot of coaches, and then I'm going to buy all 3 scouts. Staying in Europe with the Republic of Ireland, and then Northern Ireland. Yes, I'm sending them all to around England and countries that just did crash out of the World Cup qualifiers. But if you want to see any nation gone to, comment down below. I'll send a scout over there. And I want this to be organic. I'm going to get rid of the academy we already have. So we are getting a fresh start because the highest rated is only 62. He's called Fletcher himself. And we already do have our own Fletcher. As the next game up, we've got to play Leeds. Then Chelsea's going to be interesting. I think we play Liverpool. Not many games at all till we reach the end of the season. As the coach is in to help players grow. And now I'm going to go through, put everyone on a development plan to hopefully make this Man United team ready for the next season and the remainder of this. As the actual 2 weeks from the international break starting allowed some injuries to actually settle, as Michael Carrick leads out his under the lights Leeds clash team, which is as follows. I want to see this actually shown in the graphic. Man United, Sonny Lemons, Delo, we've gone with Leacher, Maguire still suspended, Mainu, Diallo actually in, Šeško on the bench, and Burmo up top. Not going to show you Leeds. Sorry Leeds fans if you're actually watching this video. We need to try and beat you. Nemecha, we need a good start. We need to get in the Champions League. And a very good rob from Kobe Mainu. We've got a few youth players on the bench just like him, because we obviously need to carry on that Man United tradition. Mainu around the corner. Mateus Cunha can't beat Joe Rodon. But Kobe Mainu wins the ball back again. Amorim actually throws him out. He's got to prove himself again. Edge of the box this. Casemiro, the box crasher. Not a bad start, and it's going to be a windy one, but he is going to get the cross in here. Casemiro with a header from a Bruno corner. Just like what happens in real life. And yes, we are a bit late into this first half. Nothing really happening just yet. Potentially could try a short corner next time. Delo picks up on the ball. Shaw needs a passing option through the middle. Good passing. Cunha probably should have shot himself. We're not going to be clear in this game, so we definitely need to take our chances. Here come Leeds United with a ball into the middle. Lucas Nemecha hammers home. Sonny Lemons' first test on goal goes in the back of the net for Leeds United. Terrible marking, or actually not terrible marking, it's just that the ball goes absolutely nowhere. Delo. I know how some Man United fans feel about that, man. Not much to shout about first half, apart from the fact we're 1-0 down. Needing to up our game, we know Bruno's got the playstyle plus of Energy Bunny, so I'm going to hopefully keep him on the field a long time. Mateus Cunha into Bruno here. His close control not good enough, but we are still going to keep this ball. Into Kobbie Mainoo, around the corner, and Burmo. If Šeško isn't ready, he needs to get his bib off. I think that's the change I'm going to make. Kobbie Mainoo. Spurs out here making free agent signings. That's a big shot from Bruno Fernandes. We're on top. And I said a short corner, but now Šeško's on the field. We have just got to cross this ball. It was a decent corner. Back in the danger area. Casemiro. Šeško on the edge. Gets his shot off again at the goal. Perry's playing very decently. Lena Yoro comes short from it. Never going to go short again, I don't think, with that terrible pass from Lenny. But the ball is whacked. Leeds United have been dominated. Still, they hold the lead here. Lenny Yoro across. That is a brilliant ball for Mateus Cunha on the angle. And on the hour mark, he should be doing his little surfer celebration. But Mateus Cunha is the first goal scorer here for Manchester United in this Manchester United rebuild. Great stuff, as I've actually changed him around. He's now on the right, keeping Leeds United guessing. Mason Mount comes onto the left. Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets his shot off. And here goes Money Mace. He's got the fitness and he's got the ball to push in front of him. Benjamin Šeško was kind of free, but I am going to wait for Mateus Cunha. He's on the edge of the box. I thought he'd hit that with more power. Edge of the seat stuff here. We've actually put Patrick Dorgu on as well. It's the last couple of minutes of this game. Should have a lot of added time. Roll it out. Lenny Yoro. We need to get forward. Mateus Cunha. That was supposed to be a back heel for quickness, but we are going to keep quickening this up. And Šeško, he waits for Mateus Cunha. If he could get a brace here, drilling it through the goalkeeper's legs, beating his Brazilian teammate, and surely this first game of our reign couldn't go any better. It's a brilliant through ball from Šeško, and in the vital last minutes against Leeds United, to be 2-1 up. Let's hope every single game's like that. Oh my days. Fergie time for Michael Carrick celebrating in the middle of Old Trafford. What a win. What a win. As the next game up is Chelsea. And I kind of do want to play Liverpool instead. So I am going to sim this fixture with a few position swaps to make, like Fletcher. He goes out wide. The other Fletcher goes out wide. I didn't want them competing, but I definitely didn't want them centrally. As potentially that's where we sign next year. We've got Mainoo, we've got Casemiro leaving, and Cunha now as a left mid. I think I'm going to play him on the left, like Carrick is doing. Ooh, and I'm going to go without Šeško. I think he comes off the bench to be good. And it's a 1-0 win. Bryant Mbeumo. That knocks Chelsea down. Brentford above them. Everton above them. 11 points clear in the Champions League. But until it's over, it's not over. We're playing Liverpool after the Bees themselves as Fletcher out injured. Fortunately enough for us, in our team selection, he won't play. He is out for 3 weeks. And he did ask to play alongside his twin brother. But I just can't give them the game time. However, one thing I can give is Harry Maguire a new contract. Only a 1-year deal, my shoe, because I know how old he's getting, but he needs to be here next season and not leaving on a free, as he's the only change. Our fullbacks looking kind of weak. 4 goals. Bruno, Cunha, Mainoo, and Cunha again. Okay, we're getting the best out of this man. Playing him on the left-hand side. I am going to check his stats soon, but before that, we have got to play Liverpool. Have to try something new against these. So Šeško in from the start, as his manager of the month is Carrick. Very good start to this rebuild. I mean, he deserves it. Don't get how this isn't a minor kick clash, but we'll just go with it. We've got the stronger red. We need to be the stronger red men. Salah in his retirement tour. I only joke because it looks like he potentially is leaving. Isak already back from his injury. And this is even with the life points on, so I don't actually get that with Curtis Jones in the middle. We're trying to block the shot off. And Salah's trying to get his shot off as well. Dodgy beginnings, but we do get the ball away from them. And we are at home, so Liverpool struggling a bit this season. This win should surely guarantee us Champions League football, if not already. Bruno goes from range, thinking he can catch the goalkeeper off, but Kobbie Mainoo Around the corner into Mbermo. Mbermo hits Bruno again. Bruno needs to look for a little bit of space. Gets the run around from Mbermo. There we go. I should have not gone low. All the rhyme in there, because I think I should have crossed it to potentially get a handball. It's going to be hard to break this team down. Yes, they're struggling a little bit, but we're not the finished package yet. Third position, not good enough for Manchester United. In the size of the club and the stature, that's going to be a foul. Or not. They're going to play on. And Mohamed Salah is going to get his shot off, just like Leeds. Before half-time seems to be our weakness. Got to be better in this second half. Mohamed Salah, of course it is, as long as he doesn't get a hat-trick. Again, at Old Trafford, I'll be slightly happy with Cunha. Running through, needs a pass into Kobe Mainu. Finally breaks through the lines. Casemiro can shoot. I wanted to shoot, but we just can't get through. Gravenberg and Curtis Jones are dominating this game. I'm throwing subs on now. I think we need to defend low a little bit, so Ahmad's on. More defensively minded than Mbermo has catched that Lamens. We need to catch these on a counter. We need to go quickly. Licha, he gets the ball into Bruno Fernandes. Of course he squeezes it through that gap. Ahmad on the wrong side of the field. He needs a run on here. Not fresh-legged enough to look forward, but we get around. Mateus Cunha, Benjamin Šeško, return it. Šeško on the counter-attack. We've done Liverpool. Just like that, his 10th goal of the season. Šeško loves it under Michael Carrick. Might not start every single game, and might actually come off here, as we need to catch them off the guard, and he is a little bit tired, same as Casemiro. To go fully for this now, need to keep that press on. Lovely press, and Mateus Cunha, you see that green space in front of you to run into. Frimpong tried to get the tackle, didn't get the tackle, quick footwork. Agate's just come off the bench. Could have had an assist. Didn't seem to really take his time with it. Delot had to time that perfectly, and for once he did. Keep this pressure on, though. I don't want a 1-1 draw with Liverpool, though it might kill them off for the Champions League. What a save, Lamens! What a save, as they'll throw everything at it. They need this win to get in the Champions League. What a clearance. Salah coming off. Typical Arnie slot, taking their goal scorer off. And their best player as Bruno run at, I believe that's Milos Kerkez, as he bends the ball around. Mateus Cunha, he's hit the post! Mateus Cunha with the chance to do something special, but he just misses out on doing so. Still, the special thing should be Champions League football for Manchester United again. We are 10 points clear, meaning we are getting into it now. Guaranteed, as I don't know why he's not the highest paid player when it says in real life he is one of them. Casemiro, he is running out of his deal, and I think I'll give him a decent farewell. But I aren't going to play him in the build-up to the last game, because I know he's not going to be here long-term. And one player I do think will be, and one player I want to get playing, is Shea Lacey, the youth player, the one I've chosen as the special one. Then again, we might have more special players in our youth academy now. The reports are in. Yes, I've got loads of different player pictures, because Charles Monk isn't going to look like that. I've tried to put a face mod on him, and I will try for the future, but once they do join Manchester United, in the first team I will change it, as this is the first time ever, or the first time in a long while, I think ever in this FC26 season, I found 67 ratings in the academy, and no, I'm not going to make the joke, we've got Liam Duggan of Northern Ireland, and Jack Hogan of the Republic of Ireland. I'm sorry, but I am promoting them immediately, getting them in United kits, and getting them out next season as Jack Hogan. Very excited to be part of this project. He's one that could be special, but Mateus Cunha keeping him out of this team, and Brobby keeping us out of getting the 3 points. 87th minute goal. Reminiscent of Derby Day, but then a 3-1 win against Nottingham Forest, with Mateus Cunha just something special. Now, I am going to play this final game against Brighton. I'm going to switch the team up, but before that, I'm going to do a season review. As next season, I haven't said it already, we should be signing loads of players. We should be getting new kits. We should be seeing the Champions League push. I'm praying for that anyway, as since we've come in as manager, not overall, but Mateus Cunha's got 14 goals. Brilliant stuff. Or actually, no, I think that is between us coming in as manager and everything, as Benjamin Šeško's got 11, Mbuemo with 10, Bruno Fernandes up there on the clean sheets with Casemiro going down, so yes, he's not going to get that new deal, but he is going to play in this final game, as it pains me to say it, but congratulations to Arsenal. It looks like they will win the league, although City I've got few games to play. They shouldn't be bottling it. Questions if they do, as the FA Cup, they get their revenge for the Community Shield. We obviously already know the result of that one. We want to be above them clubs, as it's Paris versus Bayern in the final. It was Atleti getting through. Arsenal getting knocked out. Barcelona knocked out very early, as there's the top goal scorers. Cunha snuck on there. And we already know the top assister. Of course, it's our man, Bruno Fernandes, with no clean sheet holder, however. Sene Lemons has got a long way to go. I do trust him. As you can see, I've changed some of the pictures, like Alisson, for example. Yeah, he's down there as Sene Lemons, but I think that's off the first half of the season. A lot of games and a lot of minutes, as I have changed this slightly up. Not too much for the final game, but Hogan is in. Heaton and Casemiro to show they mean business. He was nervous about his debut. He does come away from home, and I just spoke to him. I tried to encourage him in the unexpected event. He needs to be up for this one. 2 farewells in Casemiro and Tom Heaton with De Ligt. I want to watch him because I do know we've got a lot of young players up and coming in the centre-back position, as our Northern Irish lad Dugan didn't actually make the bench or the first team. I think he goes straight out on loan. However, Hogan, with Cunha so good, could potentially build himself up to be the backup if he's good enough in pre-season next year. Fernandes not getting the shot off as that shadow striker. I expect him to get a few more goals next season as Šeško. Is this Hogan with the yellow boots? Oh, he should have had a debut goal. Imagine the scenes. He would have been the chosen one if he did bury that. There's plenty of time left. Actually, this game's ticking along quite nicely, and that's going to be a free kick. I don't think he takes free kicks, the youngster. No, I've got to give it to Bruno, obviously. Bruno Fernandes, if he does score this, it's a little bit far out. Trying to catch Verbruggen out and win that header Martinez. He does for a small lad. And then Hogan, he's small as well. 5'5", I believe I read. But he's going to try and take on the right back, Kadioglu. But he just passes it in nicely. That is brilliant build-up play. Bruno tries to go low. Through bodies, could be the last attack towards the back post, and is. Come on, just let us go out with a bit of positivity. Bruno Fernandes into Benjamin Šeško, as I expect Bruno to be in the team of the season at the end of the year. We'll check next episode. Hopefully he is. But there goes Hogan again. He's trying to get this goal. Maybe it's something to do with our left-hand side. Matheus Cunha scoring a lot from there. It just seems to be working for United. As Luke Shaw is experienced behind him. That's a nice little pass into Hogan. Maybe an assist, because Šeško, with all the time in the world to net in front of the United fans. Hogan with the debut assist. You cannot help but love to see that. Kadioglu. The pass off to Jorginho. Ruter tries to get away from us a little bit. Round the corner into De Kuipje. Right, Brighton are coming out of their shell. They don't want to end the season badly at home. It's kind of putting me off making some changes, because I do want to win this game, as we need to go on in the future with a win. But they have gone very attacking. If Mbeumo switches this to the other side, it could still be a debut goal for Hogan. Oh no, but we're still going to make some changes. They're going to do the same. Ex-United player comes on in Danny Welbeck, but for us, Chido Obi, also Aiden Heaven. I've took the risk with the defenders, taking De Ligt off, because yes, he's high rated, but he doesn't have great energy, as we need to get the passes through here. If he's offside, that's bad. Come on, Chido, you know your line, and I would love for him to score, if not Hogan, which he should have done. Be disappointed despite the potential assist. Winning game assist, or I don't know how I've actually said that, but I'm trying to concentrate right here because De Kuipje is coming forward. Batoma, don't edge that on the box. Get the tackle into low. And let's attack Chido Obi. It's our youngsters left forward again. It is a 3-on-1. Hogan, it looks like he won't get a goal. He tries to swing the ball in for another assist. Yet he doesn't actually get it off. But we are nearing the end of the game. And he's got another run on. Third time lucky for Hogan. He's charging in on goal. Has Chido Obi in support. But he goes alone. Jack Hogan we've promoted in episode 1. And he scores in episode 1. Look at the scenes. The United players know this kid is something special. And it is a win to end season 1. As yes people, welcome back to the Manchester United career mode, here with another episode 1 after an episode 1, because this is the second season. You might see some things are wrong, and Mbeumo is up front again, and yes, this is all because I forgot to save the game file after episode 1, hashtag LMAX in the comments, but I have made a few changes. The only big changes here is the look of Jack Hogan. I've tried to recreate him in game, and Liam Duggan, but I think you'll notice noticing something bigger than them changes. Not just the fact that he's number 9, definitely going to get rid of that number, but the new kits, as we have new kits for a new season. Designed by myself, so they don't look the greatest. But as you can see, the home kit, it's a bright red, because I know a lot of Premier League clubs have dark red, so I don't want to get on that kit clash. I want it still to look clean, and I think that is the cleanest look we can get. With the away kit looking similar to something they have had before, I went with sky blue, maybe getting in the heads of Manchester City fans. Really sleek design, and we're going to get further in the head of City fans. Just wait until you see what I've got in store with one of the signings. Yes, today's all about signings, and you can see Sene Lemons modelling the goalkeeper kit. It's kind of a dark colour, so it doesn't get clashed with any of our kits. And other Premier League ones, as I thought Norwich City were in the Premier League. It's Birmingham who got promoted. I also see Middlesbrough and Southampton. Now, easy games in the Premier all anyway, with £205 million. A lot of players out of contract, as we did give Harry Maguire that one-year deal. Oh, and Bruno Fernandes is out. Also Mainu, also everybody. But because Michael Carrick is new, I'm going to stall on them for a little while, prioritising signings over anything else. This is the Man United team. Once I get it shuffled, I want to play. We've got Matheus Cunha on the left. I'm going to go with Dorgu back at left back. I did say we needed to work on our fullbacks here. Šeško as the striker. I think Carrick's going to start the 23-year-old. He has to do. Man United taking a big gamble on him. We've got Mbermo, Matheus Cunha, Bruno Fernandes. The main position for me today is Manuel Ugarte in the CDM1 and Diego Dalot at right back, as Ugarte should have been sent off against England. No idea how a player gets 2 yellow cards, and look at the amount of players we've got here. I'm trying to think who Carrick would want to keep around. Toby Collier, for example. I think he could get another loan deal, same as Harry Amas, Radu Vitek. Maybe could be the backup goalkeeper, Rasmus Højlund. He could get a chance in a Man United shirt. Carrick could take that gamble. Joshua Zirkzee, I might put on the lonely, same as Chido Obi, although he could play cup games. Ethan Wheatley I've got no plans for. And Marcus Rashford, I do see him playing under Carrick, but because of the season he's had at Barcelona, I think United will want rid. So I'm going to transfer list him, and I'm also transfer listing Jadon Sancho still here. Zero idea why he's back here, as Dorgu needs a while to change to a left back, which I'm worried about. I'm also worried about right back, like I said. With Mazraoui older, maybe Diego Dalot we don't sell in Season 1, or our first full Season 1, because obviously if we sell too much, and we don't spend all our money, the board's going to take the profit away that we make from selling players. And I obviously don't want that, but I want suggestions for where I send the scouts, or sorry, the new, fresh set of scouts. We've got a 5-star at United. As leave them down in the comments where I do send these, because I haven't seen the comments from episode 1. I'm going to send out my own for now. I'm going to go to Brazil. I'm also going Romania, and a fan favourite, Indonesia. I've also got a shortlist together of players we could potentially sign. I've only got 5 players on this list, which I'm going to make you guys wait for because it won't take long. We've got to get players out before we get players in. With the amount of players we have here, as you can see, a lot of transfer listed and loan listed, the youth. I'm going to keep on going with those guys. Not just bring our own youth in, as a Fletcher brother leaves on a permanent. Probably salty that his father is no longer the coach of Man United. So adios, amigo. Still some players aren't going to permanently leave and only get loaned out, like Jacob Devaney and Ethan Williams to Sheffield United, a 2-year loan. And speaking of youth players, I hear there's a potential one in the academy, JJ Gabriel. Do we add him to this save? Or maybe next time we go and do one, Harry Amas. Right, we're getting some good loan deals. I'm not going to bore you with them all, but he's going across to Everton for 2 years. Linking up with David Moyes, but this is the big outgoing. He's been there before, so he goes again. Marcus Rashford. It's not Barcelona, but it's a realistic move with Toby Collier to Fulham. Finally a midfielder out who was potentially going into the first team. It leaves Ugarte and Kobe Mainu as the only defensive midfielders. However, one of the planned ones I do have is centre mid. So we'd have to get him changed across, as the start to the season not too bad. We've got Brentford, Leeds, and Villa. I want to play the 2 away games, make our way to deadline day to hopefully see our Champions League group, or the group of players we play in the league phase. So I'm going to get rid of the right backs. To introduce you to the centre mids I'm signing. Sorry, Newcastle, but reports with Sandro Tonali potentially leaving you. He's 26, 87 rated. And then Bruno Guimaraes. He likes to run around the field. He's got more play styles. He's a little bit... well, I was going to say more well-rounded, but he's not pacey enough. He's got the Brazilian link to Matheus Cunha, and potentially a Brazilian player we find through the scouting, but I think he might enjoy Newcastle a little bit more than Tonali. But is Tonali linked away? To go back to Italy, I'm pretty sure I heard. I'm very torn, but Tonali's got more potential. This is about winning the Champions League. Tonali and Kobbie Mainoo, I mean, he's got Premier League experience already. I'm going to offer bang on 66 mil. However, it's rejected. Eddie Howe does not want to sell Sandro. Fair enough. Bruno G. I definitely know I've got to offer more money. It's strict transfers, and I guess the Brazilian link works a little bit better for me. Plus Tonali I could see going abroad. 65 million, 77.2. And with strict transfers enabled, I've got no choice but to accept that. We simply needed Bruno G because Agate I trust as a backup, and he doesn't have the exclamation mark, so he might actually train very soon to be that defensive midfielder. Right, 39 weeks is a while, but there is no chance I'm buying anyone else, and I am still going to try and hijack Manchester City. As you'll see what I mean in a moment, but we've got a lot of outgoings to do. Still before that, we had 44 players at the club. Benedito Matato across to Wrexham as the big one, Jadon Sancho from Spurs. They should be in the Championship, and this shows you the trust I have in Hogan to potentially be a backup player, but international crises. Fernandes injured before the start of the season, and it's a 3-week injury for our captain, which is terrible news, but it means we're going to have to trust this man. Let's get our bench together. Mason Mount might have to start the season. Bruno Guimaraes not going to be my captain. I'm going to move it to Harry Maguire down there. And on our bench, Hogan already sits amongst the left mid backup spot because I trust him, and I need to get some goalies out. Radek Vitek going to Club Brugge. Onana obviously going over to Real Sociedad. He's out the club. Zero chance he plays. As a 3-0 win against Leipzig, and a double for Mason Mount. Is trying to make a name for himself, trying to be the Manchester United starter. Whilst we don't have Bruno and Xerxes, I've decided to loan him out. I think I'm trusting Højlund as our backup. Harry Maguire still needs to get that armband as Guimaraes trains. It's another 3-0 win. A hat-trick from Cunha. See, I told you that Brazilian link-up. As a loan-in for Diogo Dalot. This is perfectly what I was after, because I've got a player I think Michael Carrick might like as a right-back. As I've looked at Mourinho, I've also looked at Marcos Llorente, who's already moved. But the plan is to hijack Manchester City's deal. And yes, go to Newcastle again. This time for the regen Gary Neville, Tino Livramento. He is 23-year-old. He doesn't look good physically, but I do trust him potentially as a new playstyle. For Michael Carrick, using him as a wing-back, he is English. He should get trained well. As this is what I've got planned for the first game of the season. Bruno still injured, so the other Bruno does start. Bruno Guimaraes for some quality in the midfield. Livramento on the bench, with Hogan to start off with. That's after our final pre-season game, because Livramento not had a pre-season, hasn't featured in this game, and we do get a win, 3-0 again, away at the G-Tech to start us off with. Igor Thiago's going to be a massive threat for Keith Andrews' side. They're going to be up for this after missing out on Europe last season, and this is why I made the kits bright red all over, because A, it's a little bit retro, it avoids potential kit clashes being so bright. And this is probably one of the biggest, but still, I think if we're in the away kit, the white and the light blue maybe have clashed. I really want Bruno to do well here today, and I'm going to confuse myself. I've got to call him Guimaraes. Now with two Brunos in the side, and that's a dodgy save by Lemons. A save that needed to be made, however, and head that away, Igor Thiago. First threat's Brentford. I'm not too worried though overall, but we're still not getting the ball down, and we're not playing with it. Shada. He's got the ball in the middle. Damsgaard tries to dribble around Harry Maguire, the big captain. I've preferred him to Lenny Yoro and De Ligt alongside our left-footed centre-back Licha, and that was almost onto Šeško. Bloody hell, Man United. Can we wake up? Have we got out of bed? Shall we be as good as we were last season? with them comebacks or something? Can we play football? That half was absolutely pants. Diabolical even. Very close to making some changes. Benjamin Šeško's been non-existent. Needs to get a little bit more involved as Matheus Cunha. No, with our wingers we haven't got much pace, but still, he's an inside forward. Likes to drill his way in. As Šeško keeps the ball. This is more like it. First shot, first goal. Kobe Mainu with it. And a backflip to match. Get in there. Just took its time, I guess. Šeško with the hold-up. Maybe he is worth staying in the team. Glory, glory, Man United. It is a fantastic start to this second half, but we've still got to be careful. Mazraoui. I want to give Livramento his debut. That's dodgy Maguire. And we can put Agate on to get 3 yellow cards and probably stay on the field. As that's a good drilled in ball though. And Mason Mount actually scores. I eat my words. It's going to be 2-0 to Man United on the first game of the season. Livramento's going to come on now. I'm going to get some fitness into his legs. But Bruno brilliant. And Burmo with the assist. Very well-rounded performance. I can't lie to you guys. I expected it a bit harder, but that is a 2-0 win, a 3-0 win, 2 3-0s before that. We've been quality, with Højlund potentially getting on for the next game. I am going to keep changing the team, game to game, who fits the opponent best. With Livramento definitely coming in, I am going to go with De Ligt as well. Harry Maguire comes out. I'm going to give the captaincy probably to Martinez. I'm still not going to sign up any contracts, as a lot of players out on loan as well. Some I didn't show you, like Duggan. He's gone out on loan. Williams, Dan Gore. By the way, Coventry didn't get promoted. As I am going to make Kobe Mainu after that game be the new Casemiro, the box crasher. He did well going forward. With now wing backs, inside forwards on the attacking role. Mason Mount, I did move back to playmaker, but I'm going to trust him in the Bruno role fully. Of shadow striker as Dorgu, finally changes to a left back, and should be a flying one. Maybe could have gone with Luke Shaw for a bit more experience, but against Leeds United again, we're not conceding goals. It is a 3-0 win. Our top scorer in the Premier League this season is Kobe Mainu. The only issue is we've got to keep it up. The next test is the hardest one. Aston Villa, and it's a return against Man United for Marcus Rashford. It's gonna get tasty, boys, as let's go, Man United. Let's go, Bruno. Not Fernandes, but Guimaraes and Tino Livramento stealing from Newcastle. Feel like Newcastle will turn into a rival in this save right now as Mbeumo, we're playing really well. Šeško, 1-0 already. Benjamin Šeško gets the goal and tributes himself to Wayne Rooney. This United team, you know, we've made 2 signings. Only 2! And against a goalie we could have potentially got, although I don't know what happened there. Sonny Lemons ended up getting signed. But for now, I'm enjoying this United team. I'm sensing it in the players. They want to play well. As Matheus Cunha through onto Brian Mbeumo. I ain't sensing the need for any changes. Just the sense for more quality, more goals, more everything. Ball behind onto Ollie Watkins. Watkins gets stopped in his path. Livramento straight onto Mbeumo and Brian Mbeumo inside. Guimaraes across. Mason Mount. There's a run there by Benjamin Šeško. If he can backheel that, he doesn't. He tries to pass it. Unlucky, lads. Keep going at Aston Villa. Looks our best chance at beating them is catching them on the hot. Potentially a counter-attack like this one, Benjamin Šeško. Waits for Brian Mbeumo, who is quality. That was supposed to go to the edge of the box, but Guimaraes, he can pass around the corner very easily. Mason Mount should have run the other way. I'm going to give him a rest. With Cunha in the middle, now Hogan comes on. Another mind game against Rashford. Putting another winger on from the Manchester United Academy like himself. He'll be regretting leaving, regretting everything in the past. All them discipline issues, everything. Guimaraes on the edge of the box. Hogan not on the field just yet. Šeško coming off and we're offside. I want to see Rasmus have a good game. As Ollie Watkins though. Watkins had a pass on there. Aston Villa threatening at the end. Sanchez, as Hogan took down in the middle. 1 added minute for once, which is weird, but Rasmus Højlund, he has to test himself here in a United shirt. It looks like another clean sheet unless we can get another goal and stop it being just a boring one. Hogan goes for the finish, and that is the finish. Aston Villa, no more time left. We move on to Bournemouth next. But oh no, no, no. When I do skip a day, we do have deadline day approaching us. With a bidding for Maguire from Mönchengladbach. or rumour, sorry. Bruno Fernandes, a rumour to West Ham United. I'm hoping he recovers quickly. We need Bruno not going down. He submitted a transfer request since when? Is it because he's back from his injury or something? I don't get that. Need to talk to Bruno. He can't actually leave the club, and I think it has got something to do with his contract. So we'll start next episode actually renewing our youth academy, and potentially making another signing with all the money we have left. As yes, tomorrow we'll have Real Madrid, Dortmund, Bodo Glimt. Yes, this is a concern first. Harry Maguire, Philippe Sander. That's going to be a rejection. Yes, he only signed a one-year deal, but I want to keep Harry Maguire, and then these are the big bids. In for an aging Bruno Fernandes, but West Ham rejected, Fulham rejected. Kobe Mainu, Crystal Palace, he's definitely going nowhere. And the final one, Leon. Well, I think I'm happy with my squad size. He's not necessarily a player I wanted out, but with 2 pages of reserves, I think I will be pretty happy as Hogan's off the bench for now. Bruno has to go back in camp. We've got to get him loving his football back here at Manchester United. That is the team that we're rocking with. If you haven't seen the last episode, this is a welcome to Bruno Guimaraes and Tino Livramento. We have robbed the other United in Newcastle. As 3 wins from 3, we sit 3rd in the Premier League. Very good start by Carrick, unbeaten as well, not conceding a goal. We've got deadline day, then the Champions League and cup games. I think I might play Newcastle just because we did steal all their players today. And we've got to get a move on or you'll be here years with us. As Sene Lemons, I have got his face in game. He's not the only player we've got a face to. Patrick Dorgu, who's now a starter of the squad. He's got an in-game face here. As I mentioned in the last episode, I do want him as a starter, as the lowest rated in the starting 11 is still Kobe Mainu. Hoyland trusted as a backup striker. Now we did loan Xerxes out. However, with 149 million, I kind of want to get game time to Chido Obi and check our youth prospects, because they could actually take the room of a sign-in if we get some brilliant youth. And I think I've just found the one. Diogo Dutra. 67 rated again. Brilliant stats on him. A lot of potential in Ali and Maciel, but the only one going to the first team right now. I am going to promote Diogo Dutra, just in case this man tries to still escape, as he should be staying at Manchester United, and he is running out of his contract. I'm not going to try and sign him up whilst he's in a mood. So first up is Kobe Mainu, getting the Englishman tied down to that centre mid position, and also Shea Lacey. Got big plans for this youth talent, who shall be loaned out straight away to Leicester City, getting some championship game time. Ethan Ennis out on a permanent deal, and Chido Obi out on loan as well. He's going to Inter Miami to play with Messi. And I actually don't know if we replace him. Now we've got some quality youth here. I'm kind of settled with my team, to be fair. I do trust Kobe Mainu, Bruno Fernandes. The main players play the main game to get a 3-0 win over AFC Bournemouth. 3 youngsters scoring, with Slavia Praha up next. And quite a few changes here for this first Champions League game. Slavia Praha. Come on, we should be beating these fairly comfortably if we play well. Changes have been made. Bruno Guimaraes has actually got the armband. I mean, he's a leader of men, but he's new here to Manchester United. Hopefully the players do approve of this captaincy. If he can shoot, he might get the approval sooner rather than later, as Synthol tries to siphon it through the middle. Bruno Guimaraes tries to get the ball away onto Dodera, who actually just takes the ball very easily. That's a good ball. Straight onto their attacker. Sene Lemons with the face replacement actually makes the save with a header over the bar. This is a bit of a struggle to start off with at Old Trafford. We've got to be better as Manuel Agate into Tino Livramento. Now let's get the passing together. That's a ball through the middle. Bruno not bothered about the off-field stuff, because in the 39th minute of this game, he gets his goal. Let's put the past in the past, Bruno. Brilliant finish. Just what we needed. Benjamin Šeško gets that header away. Igor Ugbu with a pass into Schranz. Moses, they're still attacking well, Slavia Praha. Not well enough to make a difference at the break. It's Bruno's goal, keeping us up to the good. So let's get good again. Manuel Agate. To the side of him, Luke Shaw. To Mateus Cunha. Agate waits for the run of Bruno Guimaraes this time. That Igor just gets his head in the way. Props to Slavia Praha. Probably the most difficult test we've had so far, and that's counting Premier League teams. Harry Maguire, you have got to get up and win that header. Almost costing a goal, but Rasmus Højlund here. He played Champions League last year with Napoli, so he should still be fit enough to go and grab the goal. But he doesn't, with Ahmad whipping a ball in. The full-time whistle should go. We are 3 minutes over, referee. Are you letting them have an attack or something? What is going on? We're over time. Referee is letting the game go on from back to front. The game should have been over ages ago. Does that say 6 minutes plus 1? We had a corner in the plus 1. How have we not won our first game here in the Champions League? Match fixing. It's got to be. That was not fair. Not fair for the first Champions League game. Still, I do trust, as we'll get back to the Premier League side. Once it's fit enough, that should be winning some simulated games and keeping us in the top 4. There's a 3-0 win against Fulham. We just love 3-0s. Little change up for the Carabao, and this should be a 4-0 playing a championship team, but it is another 3-0. Agate, Højlund and Mbeumo. Surely can't be a 3-0 against Liverpool away from home, and it isn't. A 2-2 draw, and we were lucky scoring straight after Gakpo to get it as another draw. Okay, another 1-1 in the Champions League. Disappointing, but this is the big game I spoke about, Newcastle United. After stealing 2 of their players and being on the tails of Manchester City, we have to win this game. Security will be on full force, as I've also gone psychological again. Amad Diallo on the right-hand side, due to him having them Sunderland links, need to play in the minds of the Geordies. Let's get a good start. Ahmad, if he could score here. He goes near post. There's obviously a few changes. I've not gone with Kobbie Mainoo. I've gone for Agate, because I do feel like this will be a good match in the midfield with a ball into Anthony Gordon. Spins the defence very well. Harry Maguire with a point to prove, getting a decent clearance out. Chasing them down in the midfield again, though. They're going to try and run this midfield against Bruno. Against Joe Linton. You know Joe Linton's going to leave a late tackle with his strength. And Sene Lammens the strength in his wrists to make a crucial stop like that. Marvellous work. Patrick Dorgu with his header away. Matheus Cunha. I like how subtle that was in the middle. Agate, you have gambled. Well, I have gambled putting you in the team. That's no way to repay faith with a ball lifted towards Voltemade. Obviously, we know what he's like. Judging by 2026 performances, I kind of feel a little bit safe with Bruno Fernandes. Still our main man, despite Bruno Guimaraes joining with Ahmad. Whipping a ball inside. Matheus Cunha needs to just grow a little bit taller. Bruno Guimaraes, Agate, edge of the box. We'll still pick up on this. They are not urgent enough. Ahmad around the defender. Best chance coming to us. And Voltemade, Joe Linton, tackle in by Bruno Guimaraes. And Bruno just allowed to run with it. He cuts back himself. Tries to put a ball forward and doesn't. I don't like how much domination they're getting in the midfield. Voltemade. That's a sweet turn, you know. And it's a goal by the player potentially replacing Bruno in the starting 11. Ramsey. But come on, we're letting ourselves down here. That's terrible from Cunha, trying that skill move away from no one. Elanga's going to want revenge as well as in this big game. Not winning would be really, really shocking. And not good for the team morale. With the 6-7 man, Lewis Miley running inwards. Ramsey could get another. They're toying around in our defence. I'm trying to get changes made, but they're just not happening. As Miley turning in the middle. Miley through to Ramsey. Ramsey goes again! A field day! And with Real Madrid up very soon, I'm definitely considering this performance as woeful. And some players aren't making it. Not even a bounce back against Sunderland. Agate and Brian Brobby. We've actually lost a few games in a row. I did rotate because we've got Real Madrid sitting 24th in the league phase after 2 draws. And if we lose this game, we could be in a bit of trouble. So I'm going to motivate the boys by giving Bruno a new contract. Hopefully making everybody get up for it. At least it is at Old Trafford. And you can see the difference in 2 teams. They've won both their games. We've drawn both our games. Mbappe, did you really have to bring him along? Especially with the form we're in. Valverde, Trent. Okay, don't let Trent get an assist. Whatever you do, or even a goal. Adagula finally starting games on the right-hand side. Thuram I saw was the other signing, so they've got a French duo up top. We can't even get the ball when it's all over us. Valverde. Real Madrid all over us, in fact. That is Lemons, not very comfortable. Mbappe with the header. Real Madrid not here to muck about. Livramento into Bruno G. Bruno G spreads the ball out wide into Mbermo. I sat him out because, yes, he was scoring in simulations, but in game, he wasn't really doing it for me until he scores against Real Madrid. Brian Mbermo. Get in. A glitch number on the back. Maybe I can't tell who our players are, but that is a big goal. Bruno again steals it to go forward. Bruno Guimaraes. He's just skipping around players like they're not even there. And this is against Real Madrid. If Mbermo's onside, this is brilliant. Livramento getting forward as that wing-back. Through the middle. Kobe Mino against Madrid. Should have been 2. Domination at the break, and I'm even just realising they've got Marquinhos in their defence. Demoralising, but the morale is up from that Bruno contract. I told you something needed to spark. A little spark in the boys, but we need to work on those. As Kobe Mino, Thuram just cuts the ball out. Arda Güler into Thuram. Thuram into Kylian Mbappe, who is being read by Licha. Brilliant work. Another player out of contract playing for his new deal. And this is very good passing from Manchester United. Mateus Cunha, look to the left. We had 2 players flooding down that flank. Fernandes gets the ball here, though. And actually, they've gone all out attacking. Brian Mbermo, he had to play his way back into this United team. That's a quality save, Courtois. The goalie in the making I hope we have, as we do have Chelsea next. We're going to simulate the rest of this month. I'm going to go through November really quick because I want to get into December, where City lie. We want to be second when we play them. And of course, there's no guarantees, but we do nil Chelsea. And our cup team gets the job done. Ahmad with a brace, Rasmus Højlund, after being behind against Cambridge. And it's another draw with Nottingham Forest this time. Some of these draws, painful to take, but we're losing Greece to AK Athens of all sides. We beat Brighton, which is a positive. And then we get a contract showdown where Yoro is demanding that he actually gets a new one. I think that's a bit cocky when he knows other centre-backs are needing one for their careers. But anyway, I don't want Lenny Yoro to leave. He's a future player, but he also says no to 80 grand a week. I was willing to double his wage, but Lenny Yoro just straight shuts that down. And then we get injuries to Lamens and Livramento in training. Lamens' broken arm, which definitely isn't good for a goalkeeper. And Livramento, a neck injury, so he's out for 4 days at least. This leads me on to the scouting, because now we need to probably get through our youth academy, a backup goalie, don't have one of them at the squad. And I'm going to go Morocco. Look for the next Bono because I do see the comment. Someone comment Jordan, but I can't find them in the game. Can't find the fact we can actually go scout them, as I am going to go to Senegal. That was dropped as a comment. And then the final 5-star scout. I don't know how I didn't think about this sooner, but I'm going to go for a striker from Portugal. Find me the next Ronaldo as we still win with Bayindir. That's in the Premier League, however, because we lose to Borussia Dortmund, leaving us 24th and in a mess again. We could fall out of the Champions League. With Bodo Glimt up next, Manchester City in the Cup. And then our final Champions League games is Celtic and Paris Saint-Germain. Not feeling too confident as Arsenal have gone above us here. But we still have to sim them and we lose 2-1 at Old Trafford. We draw with Birmingham in 20th place at St Andrews. We beat Everton at least. Then we draw 0-0 with Bodo Glimt. Absolutely dead game, and players will be dead on their feet. From a massive cup run, as I'd like a cup run Manchester City midweek, but I'm going to simulate that game and Middlesbrough before we actually play them at home. And you know for a fact I'm blaming the injury, of course, to our goalkeeper Lemons, but it's a 4-1 win against Middlesbrough, actually Carrick's ex-team, before losing the cup quarter-final to Manchester City. Brilliant. If I didn't mention already in this save, the only thing I want in this first full season is a trophy. And we've gone and missed out on one right there, so let's try and chase them in the Premiership. With potentially a better Guimaraes. He changes to a DM, but his positioning doesn't change at all. At least his stats are still phenomenal. But this is where it gets more phenomenal, actually, at Old Trafford again, so they probably... Well, I was going to say stayed the night, but they're also a Manchester-based team that could have gone home and come back again. I don't think I'm yet to play in the away kit in this save, which is a weird thing. I'm definitely going to make sure I do in the next fixture, but here's Guimaraes. We actually get the ball from kickoff, and a win against the rivals here would really motivate the boys. Benjamin Šeško loves an early goal. And if you haven't figured out by now, I love a low driven. Thought that would actually go in. I'm going to try and stop doing them as much, because that's a big touch by Reinders. Dorgu tries to jump out on it. It's Erling Haaland into Dorgu. That's a good return to get into Dorgu's position. Harry Maguire I have trusted as the centre-back. A couple was fatigued, but Maguire's never let me down too much in terms of marking his man, but Dorgu has. By God, it's his first goal. It's woeful marking again, Manchester United. Šeško got booked as well for that move where he put a big tackle in. Awful. Tino Livramento tries to sneak in there against the team. Obviously, they want him. Judging off real-life rumours, that's why I got Guimaraes for this United team anyway. Ait Nuri, just got to mark our men. Livramento does. It's a pass straight into Bruno Guimaraes. Need to go again really quickly here. That's a ball straight down the line onto Šeško. Šeško to return it into Bruno. Bruno tried to sneak the near post, but it's still a corner. He's telling people to calm down. I don't want calmness, I want chaos. Especially in this second half to try and shut up Haaland. Try and get some chaos going as I've made the big call. I'm going to give Rasmus Højlund his chance. Luke Shaw on for Dorgu. I think Dorgu was struggling a bit at following his man as Bruno Fernandes. We want to focus on his attack anyway with Tino Livramento. To Guimaraes. Mainu. Back to Guimaraes. Guimaraes into Rasmus Højlund. Goes on the outside. Gets his shot off at Donnarumma. We have to simply throw ourselves at Pat Dorgu into Erling Haaland here. That's a terrible tackle, De Ligt. Let them play on. I do trust Luke Shaw to get back and make the tackle. That's brilliant work, Rasmus Højlund. Chase it down. Try and keep the ball in play, but they do. And we're just not chasing it up. Look at the big gap. Our defence sat way too far back. I know they've got Haaland, but we've got to try and attack them. It's off the crossbar by Erling Haaland. Again, no one on the edge of the box. However, Guimaraes got his tackle in. And now a chance for an attack. For us, it's Brian Mburmo slowing down a little. Goes for the cross. That's surely handled by Guehi. Referees elected not to give it, so we've got to carry on. We hold the momentum here at home. Rasmus Højlund around the corner. Matheus Cunha tries to flash it in there. Do not let yourself down, United. Get the goal. Get revenge for the cup game. Get chasing them in the Premier League. Or else everything onto the Champions League and the Carabao Cup. A 16th goal in 17 for Haaland. City are going to win the derby. And Man United have got to freshen up for episode 3. 10 points now behind Manchester City. Terrible from us. I think we're just aiming for Champions League football. That defeat was a hammer blow. However, we're still going to go on to Tottenham. That's another hard game, but we've got to prioritise the cups. We have Fleetwood, we have Celtic, and we have PSG. With 142 in the bank, we can definitely get reinforcements for this Manchester United team, as we do have a player wanting out, and that is Matheus de Ligt. He's gone down in overall. He does get injured. I wasn't sure on him anyway, so maybe a player we sell today. As with the cups we are left in, the FA Cup, I think I can maybe get a younger defender to play in that. And then the Champions League, we'll probably play Maguire or Lenny Yoro, which you guys are telling me to do so I think I am going to do that. And you guys are also telling me one player that I'm keeping here, Rasmus Højlund, is a player that Napoli have an obligation to buy on, so I'm actually going to transfer list him. Go into this window today looking for a backup striker and a backup centre-back. We also lack a backup goalkeeper while Sané Lamens recovers, as this is how our scouting has gone. Our best player in this academy still is Alan Maciel, one I didn't promote. We've also got Marcos Alcantara. Our Brazilian scout went house, so going to promote him, probably get him out on loan. Could promote a few more, but I need this goalkeeper. Kader Bahari. He's going to be the third choice here at Manchester United. If we get a good loan deal in, though, in the window and Lemons recovers, obviously I'll send him back, as I'm going to take De Ligt out for this game against Spurs. Can't really afford to play it. We've got to play some of these cup games to actually win a competition. And it's a defeat to City and then Tottenham. Terrible circumstances as we also lose to Southampton at Old Trafford, making the need for a signing crucial, as I've sold Rasmus Højlund outside the window, which to be fair was just a day away because I need to get moving on a striker. We have Liverpool next. And I think with the league form, I can't afford to sim it this time. With a tactical breach, maybe we do change something tactical here. Losing all these games as Luke Shaw's being approached. I'm going to sign him up for my experienced player. Definitely don't want him walking out. And same with Leacher, because we're in a lot of centre-back struggles as is. He's been the one that stayed here. Regate up to an 80 rating. Very realistic game. De Ligt. He has an offer waiting for him, but Sané Lemons is back. Can this be the spark of some good form? I am hoping so, as I'm going much higher with my defensive line, and I'm going to play a different style of football. Kobbie Mainoo filling in as a centre-half so he can play the ball up to Guimaraes or out wide as we're doubling up on the wings, trying to get the balls in towards Šeško. As we are really struggling to get Kobbie Mainoo on big form here. Bruno Guimaraes, the captain as well. I think he's going to have to give that back to Bruno Fernandes. Let's imagine Bruno actually had it rescinded, because ultimately he did want to leave the club at the start of this season, but now he is definitely not. Patrick Dorgu needs to get back inside, a player I've got big ambitions for. There's Fernandes trying to liven up this contest early on, but ultimately was a bit of a tame shot. Ekitike trying to make a move. Cody Gakpo. He is tackled by Livramento. Livramento, that's a risky pass. Still, we've kind of got away with it. There's Kobbie Mainoo sitting a bit deeper back. You can see he's in the back three, leaving Guimaraes more freedom to operate on the left and on the right. As Mbeumo into Bruno. Bruno with a pocket of space. He's going to look to go in behind here towards Matheus Cunha, fighting for that ball. With Ekitike finding Gravenberg. Out wide onto Milos Kerkez. Kerkez stepped inside us. Florian Wirtz doesn't, but he's still managed to keep the ball here. Cody Gakpo. We're rushing around like a bit of a headless chicken with Ekitike getting his shot off. First test for Lemon since he's back. Performance kind of telling me we did rely and do rely on Sané Lemons. Maybe he was the man keeping us in games pre the injury, and Bayindir, who is also out of contract, not doing himself justice, losing all them games when he was in goal. It's Patrick Dorgu keep on running. You are a wing back, not an inverted fullback. He doesn't invert. He stays out wide. Brilliant cross into the space. Still trying to prove himself. Bruno tries to go early towards Benjamin Šeško. That is a brilliant header. Bruno, he waits for the run of Matheus Cunha. That should have gone towards Šeško. Dorgu picking up on the ball. We can beat Liverpool here. Come on. Bruno Guimaraes around the corner to Mbeumo. He's going to try and shoot. We just can't get past their defence. And this is the move. This is the one. Šeško, Bruno, and Mbeumo getting the running behind of Kerkez. We are realistically never running that foot race. Annoying. And the centre-backs are quite tired. So do we actually buy a centre-back first? Well, actually, no. Looking on the bench, Wheatley, 68. Not only do I think he has to go, but I don't think we've got anybody ready. Xerxes out on a 2-year loan. Might recall him before that. With Chido Obi, 19, 68 rated. He's trying to climb up that overall, but we need someone to support Benjamin Šeško. Without actually having a number 9 at the club, I'm going to blur all these players out, as my first choice for a backup was Goncalo Ramos, the next Portugal striker, who could link up with Bruno. Then we've got Alfonso Patricio, Pablo Felipe, also Fabio Silva, Varela, and they're my 5 options. Varela and Paxiao, I think, are just too similar to Chido Obi, and I think Goncalo Ramos in stature is similar to Šeško, leaving me with Pablo Felipe, who has been relegated, so could be potentially cheap. Then there's Fabio Silva, already fresh from beating us in the Champions League phase with Borussia Dortmund, and I do like a comeback story for players. Like Matthijs de Ligt was a bit out of form. He came back to United, has built himself up a little, and last time this man was in the Premier League, he absolutely flopped. I believe it was with Wolves, so our second choice, Fabio Silva. I'll probably throw him in against Fleetwood, not straight away in the Premiership. And before we do sign a centre-back, I do want Matthijs de Ligt leaving us, which doesn't take long. Pre the game against Fulham, that was rapid. Accepted an offer from Real Madrid. He's going to play for Los Blancos alongside Huijsen or Hausen, replacing Tony Rudiger. Big shoes to fill as we finally get a win, and Harry Maguire delivers that win. Good stuff as he captains the reserves for this next game, playing for his contract. And a 6-0 win. Fabio Silva with a debut goal. Pretty sure stat padding going on there, as Mbeumo is stat padding. If he can just go and do it in this game against Celtic, which is crucial to our season, that'd be perfect. Then we'll sign a defender. I can see our defenders are fatigued. One has got injured. Kenny scores the goal for Celtic. And up in Scotland, Manchester United are beaten. This leaves us 6th in the Premier League, 29th in the Champions League league phase, and with Paris away at the Parc des Princes next, we need to get a victory, or else we are donezo, and I don't think a new centre-back's going to extremely help us at this moment in time. Harry Maguire must have got a long-term injury. Zolis, he's been signed by Chelsea. Right, I was thinking a young centre-back. Now I think we need a crucial. I'll show you my shortlist. This was it. Only a few 80 rated. Actually had a centre mid on there and a left back from West Ham who were relegated. But this is it in mainstream. Or in the mainstream, sorry. I was planning on John Martin to swoop in there. Or Noble Mende, a new potential wonder kid. But I'm taking every single player off. We cannot gamble on 70 rated. And we cannot gamble on a simulation against Paris Saint-Germain. What a huge risk. We've got to go to Paris and actually win the game to go through in the Champions League. Vitinha, this is sidestep straight into us. This is going to be difficult. I've got Luke Shaw filling in at centre-back. Should have signed the centre-back earlier, but I did want to sign a potential player. Now I know we don't go for potential. My job should be made a lot easier, but still, the job is far from done. I haven't scouted yet. Desiree Doué running straight into João Neves. There's Shaw trying to battle for the ball. Was he part of the win here? When Rashford scored that penalty as Vardiol goes wide. That's one shot by them. We've still got quality players to cause an upset, as I do think it definitely is an upset. Lost a lot of games. The Carrick element wearing thin, as I just honestly don't want a 0-0. I don't want to be beaten, don't get me wrong. A 0-0 again will be a boring game for us as Mbermo is in behind. He has to hit that far post. Chevalier, the disappointing player, with a save as Lenny Yoro gets his head on it. Despite contract negotiations going wrong, I'm relying on him. Little Lenny at the back as Bruno Guimaraes straight into Brian Mbermo. It turns out he tries to play out. Doesn't really work on that occasion for him, but Mbermo tries to put the tackle in. Fails again. Come on, lads. We've got to get better. Ousmane Dembele. He drives into João Neves. That's a good tackle, Agate. Against his former club. 45 minutes to save the season and you're playing passes like that? The tea ladies will get sacked if you don't perform here. As that's a brilliant ball in behind and Cunha. How has he missed that chance? We need to be away. Fabio Silva's also on and that is a ball towards Mbermo. He's escaped Matheus Nunez too far out wide. They haven't cleared it. Fabio Silva. What have we bought you for? Went really Yorkshire there, but we have been pushing on their door and we haven't got past PSG. There's anger coming out there. As speaking of coming out, 1 win, 4 draws. More draws than defeats did the damage. I think that was a decent performance all round against Paris. But it means a failure for Man United in Season 1 in the Champions League. And we're not even in the positions by 4 points out of it to Liverpool. And still in the FA Cup, which I want to get onto today. And that does mean actually simming Spurs and Arsenal. But next episode, we have the entirety of the reverse fixtures to really claw back them points. And that is exactly what we're going to try and do. So I'm going to put a list of centre-backs together that could really help us pop. And you might see something when I reveal this list. I am going down the Ruben Amorim links, but I think this is the best for United. Portuguese centre-halves, because they have pace. We've got Ousmane Diomande, all them play styles. Defending as well. As Zeno Di Bast, I thought with Senny Lemons being Belgian, I would go for him, but I'm going to take him off the list. Quaresma, not physical enough. Leaving these two of Araujo, coached by Mourinho, and Diomande. I think the Portuguese league is realistic because they might go through in the Champions League, but still you want to move from the Liga NOS to the Premier League. I'm going to go Ousmane Diomande. Hopefully he gets us back in Champions League contention. On level with De Ligt, I'd say. And once we're rested, that looks like a team that should be beating Everton. Yes, I'm already thinking of the FA Cup because we draw to 20th place Birmingham for the 2nd time. Oh, but then we actually beat Arsenal at the Emirates. Wow. Then Tottenham 3-0. Have we randomly just hit a turning point for Man United? Well, we'll find out in just a second because this is my favourite cup in the world, the Emirates FA Cup. No, I'm not just saying that because I'm a lower league fan and I get to see my team actually play Premier League clubs through this, but I'm saying it because I want to. And I believe in it with Hogan linking up on this wing with, I think it was Bruno Guimaraes. I do want to trust in the youth still. Despite a bad season, we've got to do it. We've got to make sure they're given a chance and an opportunity fairly with Bruno. Everton, of course, the last team we rebuilt. Fond memories. Mazraoui, that's a brilliant ball in. Still, we need to prove to ourselves we are good enough here. Šeško with a brilliant turn and a brilliant pace. If there's someone finally to score the first in-game goal. Unlucky with Bruno Guimaraes into Ahmad. Bruno Fernandes. That's a foul. Okay, referee's not giving us anything this season. They were terrible against Slavia Praha in the last episode as Guimaraes. He's got the captaincy back again, maybe because he's a leader. On to Hogan, and Hogan is the man to finally score a goal for us, our youth player. I am still believing in you, my man, Hogan. He'll take us to the FA Cup, as we've still got time in this first half to try and put doom onto Everton. That's a brilliant ball. Completely forgot the team we're against, because Hogan is balling out. The referee does very well to get out of the way here, and Hogan's having Jim O'Brien on toast. That should be the first half over. With the second up and coming, we need some goals. We need to excite the United fans. Can't forget the club we are. Hogan gets a brilliant ball from kickoff in the second half. He's got two. Two for our youngster. Matheus Cunha. It was brilliant at the end of last season, granted, but this man is running riot. Fair play, though. He's got a lot to thank Ahmad for. This is going wonderful. We need to actually put a foot fully in for a tackle. There we go. Bruno Guimaraes gets it off. Mount, I've just put on for Bruno. I do feel safe in this result. Maybe Fabio Silva comes on himself. That's just charging through. That's bullying of Pickford. Šeško I'll also bring off. It's his first goal in the FA Cup. We beat Fleetwood 6-0. This could be even more if we get a hurry on at the end of this game. Do want to keep clean sheets going. Tyler Diblin. The betrayal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you do check the last series we did. But we can actually get a hat-trick for Hogan. He's the new Ronaldo. We don't even need a Portugueser. Oh my days. Hogan, you're the best player ever. It is 4 at the Hill Dickey and a hero definitely born at United. Hogan, look at this turn on Jared Branthwaite, an experienced Premier League defender, getting done by that little man. What a performance by this man, Jack Hogan, 18-year-old. He's just got us through in the FA Cup, which is a trophy I think we desperately try to win, which might put us in the Europa, which we currently don't sit in. We want to still get in the Champions League. Today with Manchester United as Watford is a risky sim, but it is a risky sim I will take. I just want Carrick with a trophy. If not, questions will be asked because he's got to potentially win the league title. Off them expectations, he's had his transfer window, and this is how our team looks. Dorgu's still in the defence. We've got 170 rated, but the team should be going up and going forward after an absolutely unbelievable display by that man. Hogan was incredible, and now Kobbie Mainoo under the weather. Brilliant, just what we need, so I'm going to send Kobbie home. Bayindi's been approached. That's another thing I need to tell you guys, but I know we could make money, and I should have made money on him, but I'm not going to. As a little mid-season check, or past mid-season, we've got Vitek, who I think will be our backup. Next season, we've got Aiden Heaven, who could potentially take over Licha. Delo, I think I'll sell him when he comes back. Any good youth players? Toby Collier's alright. If Carrick's still in charge, he might play, and Shea Lacey might play. Imagine him and Hogan on either wing. That would be special. But do you know what would be more special? Jumping straight into this episode, head first. We play the league leaders, the Manchester Derby. After a 5-0, still quietly confident, always, in games like this, but come on, got our kit. We've got the away travels, and we've got a point to prove. Benjamin Šeško needs support. Dorgu arrives. If we could steal a lead early on, maybe the tide is turning. We beat Arsenal, we beat Tottenham last episode. So we are trying to turn our fortunes. What a run on here. Cunha, across. No one marking Benjamin Šeško! Early on into this game, Benjamin Šeško, 12th goal of the season, still keeping Fabio Silva out the first team. Big goal. Safe to say that was not expected. Patrick Dorgu. Oh dear, they're going to equalise straight away, aren't they? Well, Rodri beaten to the ball by Ousmane Diomande, and Šeško looking on this left-hand side for Cunha. If he keeps this in, Matheus Cunha, brilliant skill away from Issa Kabor, who they're still playing against us. Bruno Guimaraes! Oh, Donnarumma's late at getting down. I think it's the goalkeeper's issue. It's not Guimaraes as well, it's Bruno. Our Bruno from the start. Michael Carrick might be saving his job with a big win here against the Citizens. 2 highlights down. And 2 goals to the good. Trying to turn the fortunes of Manchester United. Says Rodri getting tackled. Bruno Guimaraes. Just look at the gaps they're leaving. It is a 3-on-1. Bryan Mbeumo, he has to simply pass this across into Matheus Cunha. 3-0 at the Etihad in front of the Manchester United fans. Now it's harsh on Hogan that I took him out, but Cunha back in. Our starter. I don't know, was Kobbie Mainoo an issue or something? Substitutes have been made. We've got Hogan onto the field. Fabio Silva. Fabio Silva fights for it back. That's good from him. First time using him in game, I believe. Can he have a Rashford moment? It's Hogan! He's gone into the Premier League now. And he's got his first goal of the season. This wonder kid. He's gone up a rating and set up by Bruno Fernandes. It's 4-0 after 4-0. Manchester United are back. That is massive. Look at that month. That month is honestly perfect. Watch us lose to Middlesbrough now. But when you look at the games we've got remaining, Manchester City by far the hardest. We've got Watford away in the Cup next. Leeds in a derby game. Then we've got the 2 Tyneside clubs. I'm still not familiar with my locations in England. I don't get out of the house much recording these videos. Just look at the growth. We got Šeško up 1 from that game. Bryan Mbeumo, Diomande, Dorgu. I think Sene Lemons is now 85. And that win was big because I want to be able to simulate the rest of these games. Or as many as these games in the Premier League as Bayern has gone out on loan. Or sorry, out on a permanent in order to try and go for the FA Cup, as I don't believe it. After all those wins, a 2-2 with Middlesbrough. Michael Carrick's excited, but we have got to keep the run going. But do you want to know some more bad news? Well, Harry Maguire is already injured, and now Lenny Yoro joins that injury list. Granted, it's only 2 days. Still, that's not very good, especially when we've got 2 centre-backs leaving. Yes, I think Maguire goes. We've got Aiden Heaven coming back. Maybe Toby Collier plays in that defence, so I'll swap him out. And we still get the win against Everton, despite Yoro not playing. And this is the big one. I am yet to win a cup in FC 26 while simming. This is with our reserve side. But get in there. We'll go through to get a step closer. It's Fabio Silva with the goal to put us through in the FA Cup. And it's a big game against Crystal Palace in Champions League chasing. But what is the next round of the FA Cup? I really want to go far right. It is Preston. I'm feeling confident we can simulate those. Granted a quarter-final, but this is the biggest game we have got in the Premier League today. There's Kobbie Mainoo back and Leacher in the defence. Gotta teach Palace a lesson. So let's go out there at a rainy Old Trafford, play our game and get our business done. Now Bruno, that's not very nice, straight into Pino. Giving the ball away with Benjamin Šeško on a turn. Benjamin Šeško, he waits for the run. Bryan Mbeumo was going to go back post, not going to do it now with Bruno playing a quick ball with Mbeumo. That is a very quick start. 5 minutes in against Crystal Palace. Bryan Mbeumo, 13th of the season. Middlesbrough was a dip because we are really good on form. We really need to keep on going to keep our noses in front of all the teams that we are playing here. Diomande, he stepped across. Mateta and won the ball back. Bruno Guimaraes. Or Bruno Fernandes, I'll always get mistaken between those two. Don't regret the signing still, but here goes Guimaraes. Bruno G. He's running the overlap. Was about to shoot, about to pull the trigger. Early tester, but still not tested enough with Bruno Guimaraes running through the middle. Good ball out to Livramento, getting far forward on that wing-back roll. Look at the run of Matheus Cunha here. Almost broke through again. At least we're good at keeping clean sheets now, unlike the start of the season. Bruno Guimaraes into Bryan Mbeumo, trying to test Dean Henderson. Just keep grabbing them and we'll be fine, as 8 games left, still chasing Newcastle. One of the last games of the season with a big win against Brighton. Šeško brace and Matheus Cunha as a big rest before Preston. Maybe giving me a chance to potentially go to the first team for the rest of this cup run. Apart from the striker and the goalkeeper. I know Bayindir is actually leaving us, but he has played all the games up to now. And his name's not Onana, so I do kind of trust him a little bit. Especially against the Championship club. Now get us in that semi-final. Another 3-1 win. Matheus Cunha with a brace and Kobbie Mainoo. Loving it, as I might have to sim Leeds as we're top 4. Above Newcastle with a derby game in the FA Cup semi-finals, which just has to be played. A fraudulent slip up there. A point at Ellen Road still, but that is unacceptable. Still, Wembley awaits us after this trip to Wembley, and a big thing about this game, Bruno Fernandes is injured. Mason Mount, try and make a name for yourself, or actually Fabio Silva. I'll let the game decide who goes in cam. Fabio Silva decided upon. Maybe the Portuguese has been studying the other Portuguese player in training, Bruno Fernandes. There's Doku, that is an easy slip. Don't let Doku shoot at Sene Lemons! That would have been great. An early goal as Kobe Mainu dropping back into centre-back, like I tell him to. Bruno Guimaraes into Brian and Burmo. He steps back into Livramento. Now Šeško can actually flourish out wide a little. Fabio Silva can get into that striking position. And Livramento, look at that run from Benjamin Šeško through the middle! Big gap in the middle where nothing happened. A few shots either side of it. We need to be on the front foot or else Pep Guardiola will do to us what he did to Arsenal in the Carabao Cup finale. In real life, that was almost a red card, so Livramento... he's going to try and keep up with Jeremy Doku here. Try and read the tackle. Brilliant! Or not brilliant. The referee gives a free kick. He's sure about that. Erling Haaland to whip the cross in. Diamande with all them play styles. Wide of the mark, because this game's interesting. Just very interesting. It isn't free-flowing, but there's actually a bit happening now. Fabio Silva into Mateus Cunha. Šeško. Šeško tries to get his shot off at Ruben Diaz. Maybe the weather having an impact. We go into extra time. This ain't the Carabao. An extra 15 minutes goes either way at Wembley. As I'm praying we don't lose in it. That's a good block by Diamande. Erling Haaland onto Bernardo. Silva. I've gambled on a trophy. And if Carrick doesn't go and win this, I think we could sack him. Oh, dearie me. Manchester City, we beat them 4-0. Now we're losing in extra time. Now we're going to have to make changes to try and get back into this game. Hogan hopefully does the job for us. I think with Bruno, we do cope better. He was really good in the previous 4-0 smashing, and Hogan was. So hopefully the youngster does provide a little bit of quality. He's good despite what his rating says. Fabio Silva. Šeško turns away. Good save by Donnarumma. Final few minutes now approaching us. Bernardo Silva. Hang on. Erling Haaland was holding us off. And it's 2-0. It was off the field obstruction or off the ball obstruction. No. I've gambled off everything winning this cup. And as the light shone through the window, I fancied our chances against Chelsea. But we are out now, chasing Newcastle, who, to be fair, were yet to play. So still can beat, but Aston Villa are a tricky subject. Well-oiled team, as a 1-0, Mateus Cunha, thank you. Against the former rivals in Southampton, bottom of this league. You know what? I'm not even speechless at all, but kind of am. Manning and Flynn Downs before that. Disgraceful. A 1-0 loss to Bournemouth at the Vitality. A centre-back change they made as well, as that's knocked us down to 6th position. We're not just chasing Newcastle now. I think Champions League's kind of gone. We need to beat Sunderland in this simulation, then beat Newcastle in the Blade game if we actually are to get into the Champions League. I'm hoping so. However, if Newcastle win, there's no point in us really playing them in that final game. I'm almost pulling my hair out. The team look upset. We do get the win. Brian and Mbeumo with a brace and Mateus Cunha. But it's not Newcastle we're chasing anymore. Crystal Palace host Saints. I think it's basically just done. I'd love to get in the Europa League, but I don't care. I kind of feel like I don't want to play this game. I feel like Europa League or Conference doesn't matter. What matters is about us getting better next season. Brian and Mbeumo top scorer, Cunha in 2nd, Šeško in 3rd despite the +4. That's kind of disappointing to me. Bruno 7 and 7, 5 and 7 for Kobe Mainu. Josh Zirkzee we probably bring back. What is going on here? The highest rated is Brian Mbeumo, then Bruno's on his way down. We obviously know what's happening in the Cups, as Paris, who we did very well against ourselves, reached the Champions League finale, showing we're still almost there, maybe with a few signings. Wolfsburg beat Juventus, a team almost in the Bundesliga too, and Chelsea against Pana. In the Conference League, as Carabao went to Manchester City, who probably will win the FA Cup. Oh, sorry, scratch that. Have won the Emirates FA Cup. Rivals are winning everything, dominating the stats. Nobody I see from Manchester United, apart from Sene Lemons. On clean sheets, as I'll simulate this with Hogan in the team. A 2-1 win. Unless Southampton have actually done us a massive favour, we won't be in the Champions League as Cantona. If he presents a Manchester City player with the player of the season, gonna be fuming. Well, it's just as bad. Cody Gakpo wins it. I think Man United fans and Liverpool fans, to be fair, won't really be happy with that. He's only 84 rated, and Liverpool didn't even win the league. It was City as we finish in a Europa League spot, meaning surely next season Morgan does get Europa League game time, we win the Europa League, and to be fair, we put up a title fight. Yes, people, welcome back to Manchester United season number 3 now. If you haven't seen how season number 2 ended, no spoilers. But you might not be the best pleased, as this is the Manchester United team. The ratings are going up, despite what our form said. With today being a fresh start, a lot of money given by the Glazers, who might not still be in charge, and I'll get onto that in a second. Objectively, finishing the Champions League, win the Europa League, and win the Emirates FA Cup, I think if Carrick doesn't get a trophy, there is no chance that he stays. We're getting a lot of players back from loans, and you can tell I made that goalkeeper kit. The sponsor looks low, but getting onto the kits, we'll start with the goalie one, very generic, but the other kits I'm about to show you, made by Ads Does Football, and he does listen to your comments and produces bangers. Look at this for a home kit. Lenny Yoro is modelling it. This is so Manchester United coded, and I think better than the one I'm currently wearing. I'd buy this as a neutral, as also on the sleeve there is the Chunk Fudge sponsor, linked down in the description below, an affiliate link if you do want to get yourself some nice food. The best fudge on the market, and I only urge you to buy it because I've actually ate it myself. And as you can see, this is the second kit, and it goes against the Glazers. As you guys in the first comments told me, you want a kit in green and yellow, which is kind of the Glazer out movement, but you've got to love this one. And then the alternate. This is a sign. Not only is it beautiful, but it is purple. And what else is purple? The Premier League logo on the sleeve. I want to wear all of them kits a lot. As you can see, the players modelling it. We've still got one player out on loan, Harry Amas, Dorgu stays. Got a lot of going out to do, with players trying to force moves, like Lisandro, like Yoro. They want Champions League football. Mazraoui, the same. Even transfer listed players myself, which I am going to get to right now, in the transfer hub, as this season's going to be a massive move around. Now, obviously, I didn't put Fernandes there. Same as Luke Shaw, but the rest are transfer listed by myself, including Mason Mount. These guys aren't transfer listed. Sene Lemons wants out. Sorry, I am going to reject some of them. I do want to get our youngster out on loan and send out youth again. I think that's what we're going to start with. I'm going to go England because we only got 2 suggestions. You guys comment down below where you want these scouts going. But yeah, I'm going to go England off my own back. As then we also got Albania and Trinidad and Tobago commented, but I can't find them. I'm just going to go for a random nation. Let's go Guinea because they have produced Garassi, who's a goal scorer. Something we did have last season in Sheshko, but do we need someone with more goals? Currently 233 million and Manchester United like to spend it. However, I'm sorry to keep you in suspense. I like to get the season rolling with outgoings before we sign, as I've got 2 players on this shortlist. I did have in mind Sandro Tonali, but we've made 2 signings from Newcastle and Nicolas Sevald, which I aren't going to go for. I found someone new in the comments, and these rebuilds are dictated by you guys, so make sure you comment down below what do you want to see happen. I've seen you want kit changes or kit number changes as the opening starts to this season. We've got Liverpool and Manchester City in the first month, which is crazy, and Bruno, an offer from Manchester City is a no. Now Mason Mount, Bruno Guimaraes, can we move him slightly forward? If not, change the tactical style because I need someone behind Bruno Fernandes. Then again we have Allen, and then again we have Diogo. Both loan listed, but if we could get another midfielder in through the doors, it would be perfect because Mason Mount's definitely leaving this Carrick side. Someone I think Carrick would get the best out of, but ultimately, availability is the best thing and he doesn't want to be here. So we had to go, and I am not accepting loan deals for Jack Hogan. However, this man I am getting out. Diogo needs the loan list. However, this man is going out. Alan Maciel, I'm going to try and get both of them out. The youth players, that is, with Diogo Dutra going to Middlesbrough. Then some permanents like Dan Gore. He's never going to be the backup cam for me. Shea Lacey getting a loan deal from Ajax. I think that's too good to turn down. Same as this, a loan deal finally for Bahari to Swansea. As we've got our new backup keeper now, Radek Vitek. I think shall stay here and fight for that number 1 slot, although Semi Lemons has just gone up. We've got Diamande, Yoro, We've got every position basically covered, apart from the midfield. Bruno Fernandes is getting no younger, and Agate. We've got Toby Collier, who we can play as well. And down here, Delo, Chido Obi, and Aiden Heaven may be ready for first team, as Shea Lacey just not there yet. I'm making a lot of sales, but now I have in mind where my first signature will be. Getting Mazraoui out the club means we need a fullback, and a fullback that could cover both positions on the left and both the right, because Luke Shaw's getting no younger, plus contracts are running out and he is one of the bunch to be going alongside Bruno. So I do want a cam, I want a CDM and a fullback either side. This money's going to get spent. The fullback, however, he can be kind of weak because he's not going to start. I just want him available for both sides. And Jose Carmona, this could be the player. Statistically, can play anywhere. And yeah, this is what Manchester United need. But I'm going to add someone else to this shortlist. I saw comments about Carlos Baleba. Looks like he's down tools a bit at Brighton. And this man, yes, he hasn't had the best of seasons, but I think we'll only be 2 ratings higher than Kobe Mainoo, so we'll share a bit of game time, costing 52 million. And then Jose Carmona, we've had to pay a release clause on, also being expensive, 51.3, almost as much as Baleba. Do think he gets the game time, however, as Baleba's only 23, younger than I expected, in front of Mainoo, Collier, and now Manuel Agate, who has to go as Baleba's going to get the number 5 shirt. Hogan I don't really like with the number 9, maybe we'll look for a number 9, but I want him having a rememberable number. 28's lucky to me. Carmona got 14, and this is one of the lone lads. No, it isn't. It's a permanent for James Scanlon. Not going to use him. We're bringing through our own youth, and Agate's not going to get utilised. To Newcastle he goes, same as Gabriel Biancheri out the club. To Italy, and Diego Leon. Bristol City for him, as the 2 new boys stay on the bench for a 0-0 draw with Atleti. Come on, we need to go into this season well. Then again, can't forget what happened last season. We started well and didn't pick up, but not picking up a win against United Tigers is absolutely unforgivable. With Luke Shaw now out, he's going to Aston Villa. We've already covered his position, and I want to get close to this Liverpool game. The new boys now getting tested in the final game of pre-season, and it's a win with Baleba and the other guy in the team, a Bruno hat-trick. That's combining both Brunos together, and I am going to keep Mainoo benched. We definitely need that cam in, but we haven't got him in yet. We could make Ahmad it, then go and get some cover from Mbuemo. Maybe a youth player as cover, but this is the team. Diamande, Baleba, Livramento, and Guimaraes. All signings off our own back, and I don't do the press conferences, but one thing I'm going to do is make sure we're in that amazing away kit. They'll be on screen at every opportunity, as we're screening over to Anfield. A win would be massive. In the words of Bill Shankly, we've just got to remember who they are. Let's see how Šeško does up front. We've always got Mbuemo who could actually go up there, with Isak going out wide. That's a passing behind to Gravenberg. Gravenberg into the middle, run from McAllister. Big save, Lamens. Okay, not the actual start we needed. Get that caught well in Lamens. Roll it out. We need to go quick. Mbuemo across the middle. Šeško into Mbuemo again. Now down this line. Tino Livramento. Need to attack Liverpool. We've got to be an attacking club despite all the signings being quite defensive. That's a slip from Matheus Cunha to go through. And Quenda from the Blue Co. He's got him behind right here of Martinez coming across for Dorgu. Dorgu was out of the way a little bit. Need to get a block in. They're playing with some pace, but we're just not keeping up with Florian Wirtz stopped in his tracks. And Mbuemo, here he goes onto Bruno Guimaraes. Bruno holds the ball up. Waiting now for the overlap of Matheus Cunha across into Mbuemo. A touch and a goal! Brian Mbuemo with the flips. He's got one at Anfield. Love that it's in these kits as well. Cunha across to him as Jack Hogan. I was very tempted to actually play him from the off. Then changed my mind, so it's a good job I did. Bruno gets the ball back again. Baleba into Bruno G. Bruno G just runs through the middle. Needs that pass through. Doesn't get that pass through, so goes out wide. Livramento goes to screen it. Baleba now, though, in the second half, needs to improve. Šeško onto Bruno. Bruno's got no backup, so if he needs a rest, we're screwed. I mean, Cunha could come across and Hogan could actually come onto the field. That's a brilliant tackle. The referee cannot wait to give me a yellow card. Okay, subs are going down. Need a good start to this season, despite last season being a good start and eventually leading to nothing. The Europa League should be easier than the Champions League. Isaac, before our subs are made. Oh, what would I do for a quality striker like him? Kobe Minu the same as Patrick Dog, who spins out into Bruno Fernandes. Liverpool on it. That's a good tackle. And finally, the referees let us away with a good tackle, actually. I was going to say a bad tackle. Fabio Silva could not make his mind up. We cannot make our mind up. There's a ball through there if he takes his time. And he's got very good close control. I'll give him that. As Brian Mbeumo outside of the boot. That's what we needed. For the fans behind the goal, Patrick Dorgu, that's a slow-moving ball, but Mbeumo, he does like a finesse. We've won a penalty with 10 minutes to go. I thought Bruno Guimaraes would actually tap that in, so if we miss this, very controversial. We don't get the replay. And I thought that was going to be our camera angle, right? Cunha just fired this in the top corner. He does! Alisson nowhere. We should be winning the first game, dressed as Norwich at Liverpool. I'm going to gamble and say the last 10 minutes, we literally just defended. As we do. Get in there. Still Burnley atop of the league. No offence any Burnley fans, but that's telling me not to get carried away. Brilliance from Cunha on that left-hand side. I'm so sorry to our winger. Hogan, but I'm not changing. I am changing one thing. Bruno Fernandes has gone up. And he's going to be the captain again. Guimaraes just took the armband off him. Have they gave the wrong Bruno it? Whoever it is, the kit man, I don't know, as I've got no plans for any selling. We've done a lot today, and if Bruno thinks he's going to Bournemouth, he just isn't, as pre-Derby day. Team still fully fit. We go and get a 3-0 win against Sunderland. Bruno back with the armband, and we're selling Delo also to Villa. And Sekou Kone. He was a youth player that didn't really live up to it. We're going to be promoting our own and look at all the players we've sold, all the money we've made to only get a backup cam in, and also look at the team. Yes, it's unchanged to face City. Not far from home. In fact, we are at home in Manchester. I was going to go with the alternate kit, but in a derby day, you've got to go with the home. Beat them like we're a home team here. No, it's our City. And we're going to beat you with Dorgu trying to get across. Oh my God, Lemons, let it go. I know you're international teammates, but that was never actually going in. And I forgot Belabra on that left-hand side. He has to play in the filling centre-back role. That was my news. So he has to do it well. That's a brilliant ball from Brian Mbeumo. Straight onto Matheus Cunha and Šeško! What a goal! We've worked it well. And the last time we came here, we beat City 4-0. Is history repeating itself? Can we have a good start to the season, then carry it on? Just keep battling the same way you have done. And Doku tries to run round us again. He's the main threat for City. It was all last season. And Dorgu, that's kind of a fraudulent slip. Couldn't let that happen. Same with the man who just got the ball. Licha. Is our defenders too weak? Maybe too small? Shooting at the end of the half, but we are still unscathed. And 1-0 to the good, as there we go again. Livramento, Bruno Guimaraes, into Bruno Fernandes. Matheus Cunha need to force a way through. We'll go down the wing. It just worked with Matheus Cunha, the best player this season so far. And Bruno Fernandes gets through the middle. Should have scored another. You could tell with the bench how good they were that didn't sink into the back of the net. Oh dear, and Phil Foden's kind of through here. We've done really well against City, and we don't win the foot race, but Doku misses the net. We creep towards the final whistle. And that's a terrible ball by Guimaraes. Straight onto Ryan Cherki, who will be looking to punish us here. Ryan Cherki is through. We've not had an end to a game like this in a while. They are all over us. Erling Haaland. He's missed his kick. And can we get another kick? In their box, well, we've got a corner. And Matheus Cunha lifts it towards the back post. Bruno Fernandes probably should have played that short to keep the timer ticking. Carlos Balebra, I didn't want him sliding straight in. He probably would have got sent off. Now we need to slide in. And we have missed it. It is Doku. And he has dinked Sané Lamens. The threat all game in the 100th minute means it isn't a perfect start. He needs to still make signings. Still second. It's a good start. Brentford next in fourth. And only one team 3 wins out of 3, and that is Newcastle United. Obviously a team we stole 2 players from as the Europa League kicks in today. We've got Swansea in the cup. Do we want to play any Europa League game? Maybe Sociedad? maybe Anderlecht. I want to make it to December. Maybe to the Newcastle game. But we do obviously need a signing. And I'm not going to leave you guys waiting too long. This is the Manchester United side. The signing I want to make is a man behind Bruno Fernandes. And with a young Bear squad now, I've loaned out a lot of players. We need that cam. And I was thinking we need someone to sell shirts, which then, don't ask me how, but had me looking at my own shirts, and I went with the Korea one, definitely for a reason. Never realised he's now a winger, but Lee Kang-in. His stats are so cam-coded, so I do think we should get a position increase. He is not a starter at Paris Saint-Germain, plus he sells shirts there. I'm pretty sure he sold more than Mbappe. Does have a release clause, which we're going to have to pay, being on strict transfer mode. But I'm very glad to have him here. I'm going to get on that position swap straight away. And this is made on deadline day. I don't want him playing on that right-hand side. Definitely want him in the cam. And there we go. Only 2 weeks. A left-footed player, different to what Bruno offers. And I'm actually very confident in what he could offer. There is the number 7 shirt. Legendary. For David Beckham, and I'm kind of saving that. So I'm going to give him the number 12 because the player I'm actually saving it for is the number 9 Chido Obi and the number 7 for one of these playmakers here if they break through, or even Hogan, the 18-year-old wonder kid. Which, speaking of, you didn't really feel like I would leave the academy that long. We've got a Portugueser in there again, but the players we've just got and promoted. The next Harry Maguire is Jasper Walker, definitely going to promote him. We have... where is the right back? We've got Dragusha, and we've got the striker, Jean-Paul. This is the right back here. 81 to 94 potential. As I'm simming 3 games in a row. 2-2 draw with Brentford. The reserve side, Kang-in getting his first goal against Swansea, though. And make that 2 goals. He got both. As he changes to a cam. Ready to feature in our first Europa League game, which I'm going to play next after Villa Park. We get a 1-0 win. Benjamin Šeško. Before a huge Europa League game here, it is at Old Trafford. There's going to be pressure on us. Obviously not in the Champions League. And last year we won 1 game in a league phase in the home kit. I do want to get to play that alternate. If you haven't seen the kits, please watch episode 1. What a selection. With Matheus Cunha still in the team, I've gone heavy with my team selection. I've swapped some players like Lee Kang-in finally into this. Carmona the same. 2 of the new signings with Baleba rested. Collier into the lineup. Kobe Mainu the same. How wide of the mark do you want to shoot? Terrible shot from us right there as Seidel into Gulitskan. Vermband is round the corner into Boller. Sene Lemons with a big stop, and Leacher isn't the tallest of players. But he gets it away onto Toby Collier, having the armband is the youth player. Matheus Cunha's been our best one this season. On to Amad Diallo. If we can surprise them, it's into Lee Kang-in. That's his 3rd goal in 3 games. He's liking life here at Manchester United. The Europa League man with the goal, and it is a brilliant pass from Cunha to Amad to Lee Kang-in. What we needed as Lee Kang-in, we've got to get going again. What we needed is Jamal Lowe up front for Rapid Vienna. No offence, we should be beating them. He's a player that's going to be playing in League 1 next season in real life. But Kobe Mainu's gave the ball away, and Oswald, what an Austrian name that does sound. Steidel into the middle. Oswald with a bit of space into Gulixson. What a turn! And level at half-time. Tobias Gulixson. There's something about Carrick and continental football that just doesn't add up. Look at that terrible pass. Jamal Lowe trying to show out, however. Lee Kang-in trying to get through here. Bruno on the bench if we need him. Fabio Silva the same as a striker. Cunha, I think he was actually offside, but he isn't. He strikes the post and he's in from Amad Diallo. Instantly in front again. I really thought we're offside. But Amad, get in there. Get it. Lovely jubbly. Patrick Dogu, though, still got to keep on going. It's Matheus Cunha into Mainu. Mainu into Lee Kang-in. That's overplaying it. I actually left a lot of big players as well on the bench, thinking we might not be the best version of ourselves here. And we haven't, but we're somehow still in the lead. Meaning Bruno Guimaraes is going to have to wait because I'm subbing him on for Mainu after this move. Chido Obi comes on as Matheus Cunha. We'll take a corner to make them changes. I've decided to keep Chido Obi here. Wonder what he's going to offer. He's not even 70 rated yet, although I do want him doing well. That was almost 2 Diamande. And we've been gifted a penalty. with Chido Obi stood over it. He's literally just come on the field for Manchester United and he scores. Get in there, Chido Obi. Have we got another superstar? That's going to be a huge confidence boost, as well as for the team, because we should be winning. He's got Jean-Paul Drama to keep out the team now, and he did submit a transfer request as Hogan didn't play, but now he's up to a 74. Looking like the future. As hey, we're sat top of the league after 5 games. That's wonderful. But everything's always too good to be true. Tino Livramento is out for 6 months. And Sané Lemon 7 weeks. Now that's his second long-term injury here. With Kadabahari already out on loan, I'm going to have to try and find another youth keeper. Genuinely no keeper on the bench. And Carmona in at right back for a while, it seems. Premier League debut against a struggling Fulham down in 18th. And with them injuries, we still do squeeze a win out. We do lose in the Europa League. Then again, I don't feel as bad simming. Just because we've already gone and got a win, and we do beat AFC Bournemouth. We beat Ipswich Town as well. As I've been told to look at some player ratings. Carmona and Vitek, the 2 new players, the standouts. And a win with Carmona again on the score sheet, same as Lee Kang-in. Again is a huge result. I was waiting to play Arsenal. However, they are down in 7th. And the next game is the Battle of the Unbeatens. I have gone for the home kit again, I must say, because I do like this home kit away from home, but I want to play in the alternate today. Anyway, with the injury crisis, Aid in Heaven actually in this first team. Leacher needed a rest, same as Lenny Yoro. Our team's been stretched. In all the cup competitions, Bruno, still our first team strike partners, are all linked up and raring to go. With Jorginho Ruter, the ex-Leeds United man trying to run past us. Come on, lads. Pass together. You're definitely good enough as Carmona makes a big tackle to win the ball back. Shot by Bruno. And Buemo likes it on his left foot. Caught offside, however. And Baleba, I don't think... Or actually, no, he is playing against his former team. Probably gets a standing ovation. I'm joking, of course. With Evan Ferguson testing Radovan Vitek. Brighton are good, but they don't seem that good. And a win here will put us top of the league with Bruno Fernandes waiting. He goes into Guimaraes, who holds it up for Brian Mbeumo. Has that hit a hand? Oh my days. I thought the goalie would let it go, as I do like this Brighton Hove Albion team. But still, we can keep on marching on. Dorgu with the in-game face scan. Bruno Fernandes looks for Benjamin Šeško, and I like the run of Dorgu here. He's getting very far forward. Patrick Dorgu tries to spin inside. Oh dear, and Yasin Ayari through the middle. A terrible tackle. And their first shot that needed to be blocked. Save Bruno and Šeško for the big game against Arsenal, which will now have to be simulated. Do like to simulate a few games to make sure I'm not just fixing these for wins, but Bruno, get back and make a tackle. Very risky on a card, I know, but Fabio Silva, here he goes. I called him the next Ronaldo. He needs to try and prove himself. Lee Kang-in onto Mateus Cunha. He gets the chance in the 87th. Lee Kang-in with the assist. And this man's been our best player in front of the away end in the 97th minute. Or the, 87th. Oh my days. We're going to be the only unbeaten team. Big ups to Aid in Heaven as well. Comes into the team for a clean sheet. Newcastle in the Carabao. This is going to be easy, ain't it? Squeezed in before the Arsenal game. Of course, got to go to the backup squad. Vitek's still going to be the goalie. And we are absolutely hammered. I think fixture congestion's kind of lost us the Carabao Cup. Or at least round 16, because we have to prioritise Arsenal. Which is a win with our rested team. Benjamin Šeško and Brian Mbeumo. Followed up by a 5-1 win. And a win against the rivals, Leeds United. Excellent. Takes us on to our next difficult game. The alternate kit is coming. Don't worry, I know I keep on saying it. Corner ball here as well early on. Oh my days, Patrick Dorgu. Not much going on in this game, however. Now we're approaching almost half-time. We had a really boring game in our Everton save, but Kobe Mainu, Hogan of course in the team, over Mateus Cunha, Bruno Fernandes, that's a brilliant run, and Hogan could have an assist to his name, Mbeumo. Šeško has to be there though, and a Tottenham fighting against relegation again. I think they were in 4th, but they're really playing this ball around into Mikey Moore, Matthias Tell, the youngsters linking up for Spurs. We're really on the back foot here. We get a tackle in through Diamande straight onto Brian Mbeumo. I see Hogan is at the other side. They're holding Bruno Fernandes off in this game, and we might have to be patient. We might have to put Cunha on, despite him getting a rest. I wanted to fully rest him. He's had a lot of games, and he's been our best player. And plus, I do want to grow this youth player. Running through on goal just a little bit. Šeško tries to get on his back foot. He was almost finding the bottom corner. Hogan, just incredibly fun to use him, as we've not got long left. Substitutes have been made. Diamande down this side. If we score last minute again, the scenes as Lee Kang in on. Oh my days for Bruno Fernandes. Vicario keeping it out though. And we're into the last 5 minutes. This is when we got the goal against Brighton. A goal here would probably show we are worthy of being Premier League winners. Keep it going. Dorgu into Mainu. Just keep the ball. We'll go for the little gap. It's Lisandro Martinez. He's getting close to goal, but he needs to find an attacker. Lee Kang in the 90th minute. He's scored plenty today, but that is his first Premier League goal. Manchester United, under Michael Carrick, have somehow found a way to get Fergie time. That is 2 last-minute winners, as we're still doing all right in the Europa. Fantastic now in the Premier League. A 5-point gap. No other injuries, touch wood. Sene Lemon's quickly returning. I'm actually going to push him in this game. I shouldn't have done. We had the Hotel Mayhem event pop up, which usually downs the player's sharpness. And it's still down a few days later for this trip to Turf Moor. Even another youth player in at right back, the Albanian Spajia, because our backup man is too tired. And we still get a clean sheet. Followed up by a massive win, another clean sheet against West Ham. That unconventional Bruno hat-trick, but a draw. It keeps us unbeaten, and it keeps us from conceding goals, but we needed that win. We're going back into the Europa League. With Sene Lemons back and performing, he got man of the match. Meaning Palace should have had some domination. A brace from Fabio Silva. In a rotated side, got us points, but then a draw against Everton. As I'd just like to stop to see how good our team is. Look at this. It's finally getting better. That's before we actually put Mbeumo in. The attack's very fit. The defence a little bit tired. With Hogan the same, now 19 years old. Really looking after his future as a new contract for Chido Obi. He signs for 2 years, and Radek Vitek is going to be the backup for a minimum of 1 to see how it goes, and then the final contract you can see I am negotiating for the main man Bruno. Yet again, it's only a 1-year deal. I'm never sure on long term as I'm looking at players out on loan. Any better than Hogan? Actually away from the club? Well, Shea Lacey, he's keeping up with the pace. Mantato's trying to do so as well. Then we've got Diogo Dutra, but the best one is Alan Maciel. Still 18. Big player, and I'm sorry, the alternate kit is definitely coming. I want to wear it in a final. That is my aim this season. But for now, it's all about revenge, and we are actually at Old Trafford, so we can't wear that alternate at home, but I am hoping so. After revenge here against the Geordies, as that was almost a good pass on. They've beat us in the Cup this year. They beat us at Old Trafford last year, with Ramsey getting a brace after we signed Bruno Guimaraes and Tino Livramento. Still on the injury table, and Anthony Gordon is going to get onto this ball first. We've tried to slide in there. Joelinton over the bar. I was expecting the net off its hooks. Really bad miss from him. Maybe he needs to change to a centre-back. As Dorgu, he loves a pace down this line. Patrick Dorgu into Benjamin. Šeško, Bruno! If he would have just signed on his new deal, that would have been perfect. But Brian Mbeumo will go very short with this one. Try and get the in-swinger of Bruno Fernandes. That is towards Šeško. He needs to be winning it. As Bruno Guimaraes absolutely flawed by his old teammate Joelinton and his international one. Lisandro Martinez with the skill. In towards Bruno again. It should be won by now. Come on. We are top of the league. 4 points clear. Dorgu up from the corner. And a penalty. It's Miley with the handball. Agate in their midfield. And after signing his new deal, it has to be Bruno Fernandes taking the penalty. Pope stayed down the middle. It's a while since I've seen him do that. I thought I would do him with the sidestep. And Šeško! Is it going to be a last-minute thing again? As the ex-academy graduate Elanga on the shoulder of Patrick Dorgu. Lamon's forced into a save. Close with 10 minutes left. And Beleba into Mateus Cunha. Mateus Cunha picks up on the ball, waits for that overlap. Can we do it? It's not the last minute, but Dorgu slides it across. Fernandez has to score and make up for that last minute penalty. But I've got a sense if we keep going, it will be another added time goal here. Dorgu around the clock. He should get the ball. Right, we're not going to cross with the low drivens anymore. We're going to actually cross it properly. Come on, Max. We need this goal here. It is into Carmona. Onto Mbuemo. Carmona working the ball. We do not want to lose it now. Mateus Cunha waits for that overlap of Dorgu. We need somebody in the middle. That's Bruno. That's Mbuemo. That's another save. And hang about, Newcastle trying to go forward, but we can catch them on a counter. It's Cunha through the middle. Benjamin Šeško. He waits for Cunha again. We've got Bruno through the middle. Bruno tries to squeeze through. And they just whack the ball back to us. This must be the longest game ever. Bruno. That pass is going to be the final whistle, and it is. 0-0, but oh my, was that a good game? Yes, a disappointing draw. But when we check the stats of this team, Šeško, that goal record not good enough. Being outscored by Mbuemo, outscored by Lee Kang-in, the top scorer at the club. Even outdoing Bruno, who sure does have more assists. As today we're going to get a move on with Manchester United. Now we are unbeaten, but we're picking up draws in the Premier League with Luton in the FA Cup. Want to go far in that? Now not needing a cup keeper and unfortunately out the Carabao. With the Europa League not yet finished, I would love to finish in the top 8, so we avoid that playoff round. But we can't avoid the obvious. Despite remaining unbeaten, a couple of 0-0s has me looking at the striker and Benjamin Šeško with 86 rating on his card. I think we can do better. We also did bring in Fabio Silva. We've got Chido Obi on the grow up or the glow up and Hogan. Brian Mbuemo could play as a striker with that 91 shooting mark. But I want to bring in a striker and I am putting a shortlist together. With January up next and we should have some youngsters through this academy. Not really focusing on it this year. Trying to get the best out of the bunch that we've found. As we've got 3 strikers. Oh, I'm not going to show you them yet though. I was very close to just doing so. I am going optimistic. As if Manchester United can remain unbeaten, I'm going to go for them as a 1-1 draw. We're drawing a lot of games with our right back on flames and a win against a very underperforming Chelsea. Down now in 14th. They're going to need a win against Burnley to avoid a relegation battle as a 1-1 draw with Brentford. It's the Manchester Derby up next. We're going to get transfers in for our players. And despite the shade thrown on Šeško, I don't think I'm going to be selling him. As with our position, I've gone for 2 strikers. I did have 3. I took 1 already off the shortlist. You'll never know who he was. Controversial one, Julian Alvarez. I think I've got these 2 because the first one, I got Thiago. He is at Brentford, so would be making a step up. And then we do have Ousmane Dembele, one of the world's best, and 2 reasons for this, because he's over 30, so yes, he's dropping to the Europa League, but he's coming to the Prem, coming to a first place team, and that market evaluation is basically all our money, and I just had the live point saying nothing gets carried over, so Dembele is on my radar. With Šeško final chance to be the starter here against Manchester City, and we're at home again. If you didn't get used to me saying last time out, I do want to play in that alternate kit and I am going to make sure we do so today. But before that, we've got a home game, so Šeško caught wide. Patrick Dorgu making the overlap for Mateus Cunha. Dorgu, one of the lowest rated, who we could take a look at potentially replacing again. Šeško with a bad pass. I just want to make sure we win this league, especially with the position we're in, because we should be going and doing it. Lenny Yoro came a long, long way without getting the ball, and Erling Haaland. Haaland out wide to Ryan Cherki. Half an hour in at Old Trafford. A draw here, well, wouldn't be good enough. We've been losing a lot of games. We drew with these early on, or we haven't been losing, sorry, we've been drawing. And this has to be a win. Benjamin Šeško running forward. His run wasn't good enough, nor was he strong enough. That first half confidently pointing towards Dembele, making his move to England, where I don't think he's ever played before. Well, I definitely know he's never played before. Mates with the Sunderland owner. Maybe there's a move in the future there. Burmo. Bad pass from Šeško again. Sounding like I've got it in for him. I think Fabio Silva will come on, and I think Fabio Silva might leave on loan. We just don't have the room for him. I've been told to change his development plan. I'm definitely going to get onto that. But then again, that being said, I do try and play a certain way. And Šeško just not fitting that bill. We are pushing on There's the chance to sign a Ballon d'Or winner with grinders coming down the side. Ryan Cherky. Ball stolen. Looking like a ball draw here, especially in this derby match. No one staying on side, and not even a shot to scream about. Fabio Silva straight onto the loan list, despite there being a chance to play against Luton next time out. You need the game time, buddy. I keep forgetting Xerxes is actually on our books. He must be doing well with Brighton. Brighton started off decently. However, I'm not going to be using him if we do go and get this new signing. And yes, it's a lot of money on a 30-year-old, but we are Manchester United. We need to win trophies. I am willing to overpay for a Ballon d'Or winner. Yes, I know he's not the best player right now on Planet Football, but this man, to join Man United and leave PSG, who have a decently rated Goncalo Ramos and can have silver, it takes some cojones, but now he's at the best club in football. Apart from Grimsby Town, and we get an immediate offer for Benjamin Šeško. No, he's 6 years younger. I think he is going to grow to be better than Dembele. After a bit of leadership, a second team out for Luton. We do have a stacked bench and a 3-2 win. Hogan, the saviour. And we've dropped a second despite unbeaten. We've only conceded 9 goals, which is crazy with that defence. We've got 82s in the back line. Maybe we don't lead Livramento as Cunha suspended, but a debut goal for Ousmane and a 4-1 win against Ghent, because I do want to finish in the top half of that Europa League phases. This is the big one. How will he do? As I've got another surprise. Yes, I know we're at home, but the alternate kit arrives. The Glazers want some sales. I definitely want to give this kit all its glory. I just love the purple. With the purple due a win. Hopefully we blend in with the referee. The Liverpool players pass the ball to us as Bruno. That's a brilliant bit of skill. He needs to find Hogan out wide because Mateus Cunha is stupidly getting suspended in the last game. And we need to grab top spot again. This is like the title race between Liverpool and Manchester City, where Liverpool only lost 1 game all season, and that to City, and didn't win the title. Carmona still in the team over Livramento, suffering with that long-term injury, and Brian and Mbeumo running forward. Look at Dembele. Look at the smart movement. Ousmane Dembele. I haven't gave him a number yet. And there's Hogan at the back post. Who else in the biggest game? He celebrates in front of the Liverpool end. Hogan, it's a brilliant ball. He played despite Dembele. And that just across the net. No chance for the diving Alisson. Special. It's special. And Robertson straight off the bat into Florian Wirtz, trying to get at us a little bit. Wirtz just sidestepping into Quenda now. I can't forget they actually signed that man there. Carlos Baleba kept out of the team. Good form from Kobe Mainu and Bruno Fernandes. He's always looking for Hogan, one of our best players. Sidesteps back into Bruno. It was away and he should have scored. Carrick getting the best out of United here. Maybe we're still on for this league win. So Burmo, don't try that again, please. We need to be better with our own corners. And now does Hogan actually defend? Holding Liverpool back. Patrick Dorgu. He's been brilliant since moving back. Allowing Hogan into this team. Isaac onto Gravenberg. Ryan Gravenberg trying to cut through us. And he kind of does because we've lost the ball again. Definitely not out of this game. We know how many late goals we've scored at Old Trafford this season. Potentially could happen to us. Florian Wirtz. He's looking for the gap and not getting it as there's a counter here. Maybe Šeško comes on very soon, but Dembele, oh, he took it on first time. Don't mind it at all, you know. Trying his luck as substitutions made. Lee Kang in. Gonna keep Hogan on as Lee. Kang in. He can score. That's a brilliant turnout. If you haven't spotted by now, I really do love that skill move as Bruno Guimaraes. Diamande. It was high in the sky. I was hoping for a penalty from a handball, but that it's an absolutely gigantic win. But I don't think the season's over, and we've still got the Europa League to go. Same as the FA Cup as Fabio Silva. I can't ruin his career like it's kind of been ruined in the past. That Wolves move didn't do him favours, and he's going on a 2-year loan, which I still might recall early, as that's 2 goals in 2 for Hogan, who I think I've been calling Alex, but it is Jack Hogan if I've ever got that wrong. Apologies, but the trust is going into the Irishman. Stays in the team ahead of Cunha and actually nets against Spurs. Is there anything he can't do as Kang in? Hogan again against Leeds, and Mburmo with a 2-1 win over Fulham, keeping us unbeaten, and a 6-3, another Hogan goal against Stevenage, and a draw with Villa, but we got a few wins in there. Okay, and 8 points clear now with Arsenal up next, but with us playing on 3 fronts, the Europa League, FA Cup and the Premier League, with Hogan actually getting a rest for this big game against Arsenal, and it's paid off. I need to pick the games I sin very carefully. Hence that choice right there. And look at the fall off from Brighton. 10th is a big no-no, and Dorgu with a 1-0. We're going very far in this save today. Right, Chelsea are in the FA Cup. Who have we got? The Europa League. I think we should be safe to actually sim Famalicão. Over 2 legs, as here we are. The Norwich City Glazers out kit is back. I love this fluorescent green. I love the badge on it. I'd love if we picked up the win, though, and got ourselves, I think, into a quarter-final next with Dorgu. Got Hogan back on the field. I've got my spin out, Lee Kang in. If we try something different, little click to click. Tries to get his pass off, and just tried shooting eventually in the end, as Dorgu did get that big winner. That slide is not how I wanted it to pan out. Mainu trying to chase his man with João Pedro. Through. Is that outside of the box from Aiden Heaven? I've gone and slid in again. Right, we've spoke about a lot of good youth players. Now we've got a youth player who's struggling a bit in Aiden Heaven. As Palmer's hit the post against his beloved Man United. Do not pause, lads. Diamande has to get in there and cover for his other partner. Frosty start to this game, but we've lucked out. We missed a penalty ourselves last time out against City, with Bruno missing the Panenka, or not even a Panenka, as we need to win that. A lot of sides going in at the bridge, and Aiden Heaven's got to be really careful. But here we go. Here's the special player. It's Hogan. Good pass in as well to Lee Kang in. Sheshko, he can try and prove himself in the team. Needed to score that as Bruno. Dorgu's not in the way. Byron Gittens now around his man, however, second half. Still 0-0, and I don't think there's replays in the FA Cup anymore. We'll go straight to extra time. I was hoping straight to penalties, because we'll need the fitness for the Europa League games, and obviously the remainder of the Premier League. We're trying to go unbeaten again. We tried to do it in our last season with Everton. Spoiler alert. Should be available on the channel, however, with Lee Kang in just running through. Support on either side. Here goes Ahmad. Across towards Sheshko. Just throw your bloody body at it. We're not making changes in this game. We're in the 86th minute now. Sheshko could turn provider to Lee Kang in. He loves every single competition. He's got his second goal. And I tell you what, Fergie time's so real. Just need it real in Europe. But what a win. What a win. Staying with the main lads because we've got Ipswich Town who could, yes, break our record. But I'd rather win 3 trophies than a non-defeat record. That is a huge win. Can probably rotate in the second leg. Look at that. That's bottom of the league for you. Our first defeat of the season. With our main team as well. When I skip to the ratings of the players, no one doing themselves justice apart from Dembele. Speaking of justice, not much for Bradford City. We've got them at Old Trafford. We should be going through into a semi-final in the FA Cup. And the same in the Europa League. Or it's a quarter-final next, as it is a draw. But a draw that puts us through. 1 defeat in the league. The next team we play in the, not the Carabao, the FA Cup is going to be Bradford. Then we've got Frankfurt over 2 legs. The Premier League games as well. Apart from Chelsea, no one huge here. With the gap being enormous now. 7 points with 8 games remaining. 1 defeat in this Manchester United team. Dembele's got to get back into the squad. The 90 rated man now will start. And this is sensational. Yes, we've got injuries to Lenny Yoro and Tino Livramento. But maybe Duggan gets into the squad. I saw some comments about this man definitely not growing the same as Hogan is. But let's just jump straight into today, shall we? I'm desperate to win this game as we've got 13 days. I'm just going to send Lee Kang in home before Bradford, which I hope we win. Newcastle just won the Carabao. There's the graphic for them. Congratulations. Beating Arsenal. Hertzler now in charge of Chelsea. And Guardiola in charge of Nottingham Forest. This is mental. Haven't checked many of these changes. I'm going to throw Kang in with a call to play against Bradford City, who put up a fight, but we beat them 4-3. Hogan on the score sheet, and Bruno actually suspended, so Kang in will come in. in a 3-0 win over Frankfurt. Do I feel confident enough to now actually sim the second leg? We've got Manchester City in the semi-finals of the FA Cup with Liverpool 4 points behind. They have played a game extra. Keeping my eye out on their results as we beat Nottingham Forest. A gigantic win, and it is 5-0 on aggregate against Frankfurt with the simulations, as he really needs a day off. Does Bruno Fernandes, who's been suspended, so he has had some time off. I don't like him asking. I'm actually going to deny the leave unless it is... Well, he does say it's a family issue. Do I fall out with him? This is an important time in the season, and he's paid a lot. In any other save, I don't do that, as we beat Newcastle 4-2. Kobbie Mainoo, though, with an injury. He's going to be out for 3 months. Oh, dear, and Bruno. Very unhappy. He's gone down a rating. 87 in cam now. Is this the time we actually see Lee Kang-in take over, or even Jack Hogan? He's gone +6 in this one season. That is phenomenal. And submitted a transfer request, weirdly. If we win our game in hand, we are 10 points clear, so our game in hand doesn't actually win it. Newcastle in the Europa League as well in the semi-finals. And Bruno still finding ways to actually keep himself out the team. As we're very stretched now, Balaba's in, Livramento returns, but some players aren't really sharp for this game. Bruno gets us the win, however, giving us a nice points gap. And do I simulate Manchester City? I know it's a lot of simulating going on, but I do want to try and win the Europa League more than the FA Cup. The FA Cup puts you in the Europa League. The Europa League puts you in the Champions League. So yeah, I'm actually going to sim it. We're changing our squad up a little bit. It's his Balaba, Mainoo's replacement, putting us in the final of the FA Cup as a draw, and Anthony Gordon missed a penalty in the first round, but everything's still to play for in the second after a draw. Still zero involvement from Bruno Fernandes in this game. We want to be in 3 finals. We're already in 1. And I say 3, there's only 2. I keep saying the Premier League's like a final, but if we do win the next game in the Prem, which is Chelsea, we'll win the league, and I feel confident. But this game is all up in the air. A chance to go to a Europe Continental final after last season's disappointment. Not even getting out the group. Or now the league phase of the Champions League with Ousmane, Matheus Cunha. Ousmane Dembele's got that boost away. He tries to pass it back in to Matheus Cunha ahead of Hogan, who stupidly wants to leave the club. I'm not going to allow him to. Patrick Dorgu, brilliant ball across to him. Brilliant cross in. And Buemo, up your game, please, mate. That's a terrible back pass straight onto Anthony Gordon. And Voltemada away to Harvey Barnes. Patrick Dorgu, come across, please. He is not helping out his teammates. Looks a bit open here. It's Old Trafford. We should hold an advantage, but these have been good against us here. A 0-0 this season, and Jacob Ramsey last season 2-0 with Livramento back in the squad. Missed half a year of football, but he's now back up to scratch due to them simulations. Bruno Guimaraes has been brilliant for us. As Tino Livramento, he cuts inside onto his foot, and Burmo, he likes to hit ones like this in real life. As Voltemada, Tino Livramento shrugged off of his ex-teammate. Really bland first half. It is really a game meant for penos, as I've just seen literally 10 minutes ago on X. Kieran Trippier is leaving Newcastle United, and it's just said he is retiring in this game. He took over Livramento, but still we've got to be fully focused ourselves. Livramento himself cutting inside. Lee Kang-in. If we can stop extra time or penalties, that would be brilliant. It's a 1-goal winner, I sense, this game. Dembele into Lee Kang-in. In towards Dembele as Diamande stomping forward. Agate. That's the tackling we didn't get from him in the first season, as that's running through Balaba. The battle of the midfields now, oh my days, swinging like a pendulum. Again, another interception. No one wants to let one another attack as Ousmane Dembele just show some of that Champions League quality, please. As Dorgu running inwards. That's a brilliant ball. Lee Kang-in, he is our biggest goal threat, especially with Kobbie out, as that's your man, Toby Collier. Brilliant tackle. He's got the socks really up. Very high on his legs, ready to get stuck in as Matheus Cunha into Lee Kang-in. The PSG link-up could work here. Dembele through the middle. If he reaches this ball, it's a header. It's a handball. Controversy at Old Trafford. Dembele, I think he's bought it. Newcastle will be horrified as the penalty usually goes to Ousmane. This time to Lee Kang-in. It is in. It's 1-0 to Manchester United with 10 minutes to go. Brilliant from our ex-PSG link-up. That should be us potentially winning and reaching a final, as it is. The whistle didn't take long. We just held out, and finally a win for the Borough man Carrick and ex-Newcastle man Carrick to get his team into a final against Nice, which shouldn't be allowed because that's obviously a ownership clash. With Arsenal, we've got to play today, but we've also got to play Chelsea. I want to win the league. Yes, it's away from home, and yes, I'm playing the same team. We can have a rest midweek, as Fabio Herzl's not got the best out of this Chelsea side. These sit in 11th, and I think this might be the end of the home kit today. I'm going to try and play the finales in the away kit because that hasn't been used as much, and the alternate. Want to give it some love as Lee Kang In trying to feed Dembele again. If he could handle the ball, Trevor Chalobah or even Estevao or anybody, that would be a huge favour. As look at that ball from Matheus Cunha. Look at the space. Chelsea's defence is everywhere. 32 minutes on the clock, and Mbeumo might have Man United winning the league with the easiest slice through you'll ever see, like a knife through butter. Our number 19 left alone, and it's not like Chelsea are bad attacking wise. Their defence is non-existent. Matheus Cunha, he hits Mbeumo early. Goalkeeper, I thought, would commit more. Has that been too cheeky? Has Mbeumo just cost us the league early? As Ousmane Dembele, he feeds his winger, Cunha. If he can cut inside Matheus Cunha into Brian Mbeumo this time, he turned out very late. Bad as Shield, embarrassing. With one defeat all season to Ipswich Town, Man United should be doing it. And now changes happen. We've got Hogan, Šeško and Bruno on. Controversially with the captaincy, because if we do win this trophy and it actually shows us the trophy lift, I think it should be him lifting it. I don't think we'd get it, however, because we're away from home. But we would definitely win the title if we win this anyway. Šeško onto Bruno. These two played really well earlier on in the season. Maybe Bruno a bit more than Benjamin Šeško. But Mbeumo! Here goes Hogan. Hogan has the ball to Mbeumo. Ball to Bruno. Hogan, he's running himself. Harry goes through. And he goes through. I know his name isn't Harry, as Bruno tries to find a man on the edge of the box. Might just be 2-0 here. And just like that, it is. Manchester United, thanks to Brian Mbeumo, have won the Premier League. And we're not going to get the lift, but we know we have lifted it. Get in there, as what a managerial appointment that is. Reggie Labrie to Newcastle. What is going on there? I think when we did actually play Newcastle ourselves, we did play against the standing manager. He didn't have a face scan or anything. As there you go, we're definitely winning the league, meaning I'm not bothered at all to play the reserves. I'm going to go more reserve to this. Hopefully many of our first teamers don't get on the field. As there we are, hammering. Defeated. Collier with a goal. Despite a 4-1 scoreline, I'm very happy that one of our OG youngsters has got it. But here we are, making a statement, and I would have liked to make a statement, maybe controversially, out of Bruno refusing to play, but he captains the squad. For this first final, the FA Cup one, I think I'm going stronger in this than the Europa League, because I do want to win English trophies, and if you didn't know me on this channel, and the main channel, my favourite competition is the FA Cup, so I'd rather win this than the Europa League personally. Hogan will play in that. Maybe Toby Collier. But yeah, we've got a trophy to win right now, and Patrick Dorgu tries to go back post. I thought that might have hit a hand. Bruno, has he got a point to prove? Going for the early one right there to try and score a finesse as Bruno G. Through that gap, find Brian Mbeumo. Hot on form in front of goal. It falls to Bruno again. At least we're parking Arsenal back. That's a brilliant ball. Miguel Gutierrez, good in the air. I feel for Kobbie Mainoo not involved, but it's a good job we bought Belabor here, ain't it? And Mbeumo tries to turn out, tries to get a pass onto Trossard. Now Miguel Merino. Again, I don't want it to go all the way to penalties. If we get a penalty like the Newcastle game, or some Fergie time goals, that would be brilliant. Patrick Dorgu's got no competition at left back, so he passes away straight through, and they should have scored. Firstly in this finale, as I tell you what, we're not comfortable. Don't forget as well, our team's fully rested because we could afford to rest them against Everton. I don't believe any of these first teamers featured a minute, maybe a few minutes off the bench, but that would have been after the 60th. And that's fitness as Dembele, he fits through the gap, and Ousmane Dembele, he scores for Manchester United. Early we've caught them on the hot. In the second half, his first FA Cup goal, and it could be a title-winning one. In front of the Arsenal fans as well, he cuts inside in this amazing away kit. We could be lifting a trophy. Second half team, that's what we are. as Martin Odegaard into Merino. Now, we've got to make sure they don't get forward as quickly as possible. Trossard into Mikel Merino. Again, Leandro Trossard is cut away. That is brilliant footwork. And we might be going to extra time, which I didn't want with the Europa League up next. And here goes extra time. Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good. Havertz again, shove them back. Do not let Arsenal through here. Zubimendi come a little bit out of his way as Diamandi to try and get on that. Why is Dorgu not marking his man all in this fixture? Zubimendi coming across to try and block off a passing lane. That's a brilliant ball over. Livramento actually struggled with it, and we're struggling to get this away. Kai Havertz, Merino, Gyökeres, goal. This is not like the Arsenal that just faced Manchester City in real life, is it? Chasing the game, chasing the second half. And in these, you don't really get a lot of moments. Come on, we've got to get away with the ball here, Bruno Guimaraes. Game's done. Game's done. Arsenal win the FA Cup. I don't even want to see them lift it. It was a comeback. I thought Dembele had won it. An ex-Ballon d'Or player scores a goal. And that beautiful, beautiful kit won't see a trophy. Oh dear, I wanted to see the lift. But hey, we've got to focus. 2 out of 3 wouldn't be bad, or 2 out of 4. We'll win this Europa League as it is up next in 3 days. I thought we had a rest period, but we don't. We've got the Claret clubs after that, which I don't care about. And off the back of, well, at least they're not too tired, but after the back of extra time, the players might be fatigued in their brains. Gonna take Martinez out. And Lenny Yoro is in, as this kit is nice. Speaking of nice, the team we have got to beat. I don't recognise any of these names right here. Nor the stadium as we win the ball. Bruno is back out of this side. Patrick Dorgu only just in over Carmona. I think maybe next season we do go and get another left back. Dorgu's been okay, but not a starter. Hogan, let's get going. Come on, we need a trophy. If we bottle 2, that might actually ruin momentum for next season. Or ruin, if I can speak, as that 8 minutes in from him, Hogan. Why are we not getting to see celebration? Scores the goal of the save. Edge of the box. He's outside the box or just in off the post. 1-0 immediately against this Nice team. But we know what just happened against Arsenal. And I don't care. We're better than Arsenal squad-wise, and we still lost to them. So can't say anything about this Nice team. Badawi, I know him. Luche, I've never heard of him though. Getting the ball away here. Lee Kang in onto Ousmane Dembele. Of course he had to start. Experienced against Nice. He cuts inside. What a save that is by Diouf. Okay, and still at half-time, Nice are keeping themselves in the game. They've made changes. As an hour in now, we are still yet to make a change ourselves. Do we put Bruno on? Or just let Guimaraes lift the trophy? Here goes Lee Kang in. Another goal here is crucial. We need one very quickly before our players tire. Bruno Guimaraes in towards Dorgu. Baleba winning the ball back. Straight onto Ahmad. Lee Kang in and Hogan is kind of free. Dembele with the acrobatics to get the ball across. He put it wide of the mark though. And we just saw out 8 added minutes. It's the goal from the youngster Jack Hogan. To see Manchester United get their hands on the Europa League and Bruno not lifting it could be psychological. Is it the end of Bruno Fernandes? I don't know, but we'll celebrate right now with Guimaraes lifting the trophy. Hopefully all forgiven after our bad form last season. We beat Burnley. With that reserve team, then with the main team, we do beat West Ham. Fernandes played for 2 minutes, and maybe we have seen the end of him. He hasn't submitted a transfer request. He's done it before, though. We know he can actually do that. Maciel Dutra Montanto, I can never say his name first time, and Shea Lacey doing well out on loan. Maybe Shea Lacey's back in the squad, as now it's for the season roundup, and Buemo the most important, and Dembele outscored Šeško in 23 games, showing how vital he was. Same as Jack Hogan, 9 goals from a 76 rated player, 88 points, only 2 defeats all year in the Premier League for Man United, and we know how most cups finished. I already spoke on Newcastle United winning the Carabao at the start of the episode. Conference League went to Como. I'm surprised they're not in the Champions League, which, speaking of, we want to win next year. I don't want to make any mistakes like last season. We've got Crystal Palace just losing to Bayern. Congratulations to them going far, but it is Bayern versus Paris. We want to be one of them teams. Europa League was ours, and we also want a top scorer on our list for next year. And maybe we sign a new assist maker. I have looked at Pedro Goncalves before. Season 4 begins with this team. Now, Cunha is out. We've actually got 2 main players out. Or 3, if you count Bruno Fernandes, who hasn't been a happy player. 33-year-old now. Dembele is our striker, if you missed that. That's a 90 overall. Leach are a starting centre-back, and you might think centre-backs are what we need. We've got a lot of players back, including a decent Amas and a decent Lacey. Also a very decent Alan Maciel, another Brazilian player. But I think you guys are definitely looking at the kits. Yes, people, Ads Does Football is back again. He will be linked down below. Making these kits, starting with the goalkeeper one. Finally, we've got a better one than the one I made, the green. Is so nice. I've got the Sharp sponsor on the Sharp kits, if I do say so myself, and we've got the Chunk Fudge sponsor. Affiliate link down below. Some of the best sweet stuff I've ever eaten, in my humble opinion. And then the home kit, you've just seen it a moment ago. Really like, to me, it looks like roses, and I really like that design. It's definitely Manchester United themed. With the away kit, I'm going to say the same joke again, looking sharp. I like how it's just a bit reversed, but still, so clean, so sharp. I've made the joke 3 times now, and this third kit we're definitely going to use. I love how simple it is, and the gold addition to the Adidas badge just makes it pop. And you can bet yourself we're playing in that a lot this season. 205 million. We've got money to spend. We've got a community shield, which should be very entertaining. As the trophies we won last year were very good for us. We've also got a Super Cup. So with that start to the league season, I think I played these 2 cup games, which has come at a very good time because I've got 1 player on my shortlist, and I do want to see if I need him or else Bruno Fernandes plays good, because a lot is centred around him and it's his last year of contract. He is transfer listed as well. We've got Hogan, who submitted one, but he's open to talks. Definitely needs to get played this year. Same as Aiden Heaven. We've got Xerxes, who can probably go out. We've got Fabio Silva out on loan anyway. Bruno Guimaraes, I think, will be the captain. Yes. We only signed him recently, or in that first season, but he stays. And the first thing I'm going to do, definitely speak to Hogan before we sell some players. And I think this season he does get an important role. I think he's proved himself to be important. He's on a pro player deal now, and he's competing with Matheus Cunha. We'll definitely play in pre-season as we had Hotel Mayhem before going into that last game of last season, as Matheus Cunha definitely not going to Liverpool. Like I said, Hogan will get game time, but I'm not going to sacrifice others as win the league title, cup, and Champions League as well. Last year was a bottle double, but still, that double was a big achievement, and now they want to treble as Liam Duggan. I didn't play him enough last season, and his rating is 74, so maybe I do need to play him more. Will be sub movement going on before these 2 massive cup games, but not overly moving, because obviously we had a big move last season with a lot of youth going out, as Osasuna wanting Joshua Xerxes, and yes, I've spoke about potentially replacing Fernandes, and the other player I spoke about, who had a dodgy FA Cup campaign, is Patrick Dorgu. Now, I didn't want to replace him, but I spoke about potentially getting him a backup. With Harry Amas down here in the reserve, 76 rated, I think we trust the academy, him and Shea Lacey will feature in games as a budget malfunction. Is this another banking issue? Yes, it is. So we've lost 100 million, taking us down to 109. It's a good job the player I have in mind isn't too expensive. Plus, I'm not sure I'm bringing him in. I want to judge Bruno Fernando first. Oh, Bruno Fernandes. But I am getting rid of a cam. I want to focus on one of the Brazilians, so a controversial sale of Diogo Dutra, putting all eyes on Alan Maciel, who I'm going to trust more. Plus, the squad isn't too big as is. We've got some players already in the academy, but I am sending the scouts out. The first one's going to Latvia, the second to Mexico if we can get the next Chicharito or Chicharito. I can never say his name. It's really early in the morning, forgive me. Final one, Republic of Korea, because Lee Kang-in was so nice to us. I'll search for another attacker there as we get a 2-draw with Juve. Reserve squad gets a 1-1 draw with Lazio, Hogan scoring. Yet we almost still lost that game as Matanto goes to Augsburg. Glad we're actually getting him out because I can never actually pronounce his name. And then a 1-1 draw with Atleti, so we don't actually win at all in pre-season. That's a little bit shocking. As for the Community Shield, Shield, this is my tester game. I do want to win it, obviously, but I'd rather win the Super Cup on the continental stage, so this is where Bruno actually gets a game. And I rotate my team to look like this. Wembley Stadium for this one here, and obviously it's the Community Shield. I really think we've been proud with the youth when you count the amount we've got. Vitek, Amas, Hogan, Aiden Heaven, Kobe Mainu. This is a bit of a kick clash, don't get why they've done this to us. I'm still going to play on the game, as that's a ball down the line to Bruno, who needs to impress, like I said. Ball into Benjamin Šeško is a good one, goes from range. Not only is it a kick clash, but it's a very dark game here. Mysterious as Hogan, our number 7, is going to run outside. I saw the man in the middle try to go across to Šeško. That is a big opportunity. Maybe I do need to turn the shaders off next game as Bruno Fernandes. Ball in the middle towards Aiden Heaven. The youth trying to score. Arsenal trapped in there. A new defensive line. I do see Jurrien Timber, but then it was, I think, Militao, Ignacio, and Fonzie Davis. Not bad purchases, but not Saliba. Not Gabriel with Leandro Trossard. He stopped us winning the FA Cup with his goal in the last game. Oh my days, that is dodgy by Heaven and Collier. Maybe the youth, not the best decision, but seriously, who organised this kit clash? FA, I've got some reporting to do to you buddies, as Benjamin Šeško gets us off straight away. I do want to put more youth on with Shea Lacey on the bench. Carmona can't get inside of Marino, his fellow Spaniard. Fonzie Davis, just track them around. Make sure they can't get out, as I can still recognise the socks. Here goes Hogan. Bruno trying to make a move to the near post. He goes away from it. Hogan goes himself. Why is Ahmad not there? As I'm sorry, not impressed with Bruno. He's coming off. Maciel and Lacey on. As I said, we've got to rest some players for the Super Cup. That's a good ball in towards, I think that was Shea Lacey. As Hogan onto the edge of the box. Toby Collier goes low. It falls to Harry Amas. With Bruno not playing well and Maciel looking a bit raw, maybe we still do need a cam whatever happens. Big save, Vitek. Sign that extra year as a backup keeper. Maybe wants first team football soon at an 80 rating. Marino into Declan Rice. Just got around us. Kobe Mainu takes out the fellow Englishman. Arsenal on top at the end of this half. Bukayo Saka, that's a brilliant whipped-in ball. Carmona plugs it off the man's head, and here goes Shea Lacey, finally getting trusted in a United shirt. That's a brilliant run here. It is Maciel across. Benjamin Šeško scores in the 88th minute. Replaced by Ousmane Dembele, but I did say I want him to learn off the Frenchman. And Carrick's youth have done it. I think Toby Collier's going to be the captain. Weird move him lifting it, but I don't mind it. He played very well. And Šeško at the side got the goal. That's our first trophy of the season. And revenge on Arsenal, as Shea Lacey now is 75 and clubs are wanting him. No chance as Ethan Williams. I'll negotiate that. I want him out. But the real thing I'm on about, here with Bruno Fernandes, 86 rated now, and Paris have put a bid in for him. We play him next. And I don't think Bruno had his best game. He went out with 2 trophies last time. Now he leaves Manchester United at the age of 33. But don't worry, still got a player to come in here. Plus we took 2 players from Paris, so now we can put them back in the lineup. Lee Kang in and Dembele. Then we've got 2 Newcastle players as well in here. Then a Brighton, then a Sporting, and on our bench, plenty of youth. Should be no kit clashes in this one. I am going with the home kit again because I like lifting trophies in the home. I'm going to try and use the away at an alternate a bit in the season. Maybe for some cup runs, as these are going to be up for it with us stealing their players. I've got to say as well, to be unbiased, I don't think that our man Hogan had the best game last time out. So Matheus Cunha, I think he will be the starting man, obviously at an 89. Can't really bench him for a low-rated player, and Cunha is running through here, tries to find Kang in. There we go, we found him. There he goes, scoring against his former club. Do we even need a starting cam, or is this man gonna take his chance? I love his celebration. I love the graphics of the Super Cup. I don't get to play it usually, and that's an amazing low-driven goal secured when we needed it. And now just keep chasing them down. Force them into some kind of error. Yeremy Pino's made the move to PSG. Lost the ball. Now João Neves, one of the best midfielders in the world. If Vitinha is onside, which he isn't, it would have been a good goal. The magician so magic, he literally vanished and couldn't remember where the offside line was. That's enough. I'm going to buy another cam because this could actually be costly, and I do want another cam anyway. So we've lost the ball. Goncalo Ramos trying to run through the Dembele replacement. Sene Lamens tries to skill his man and does. With Mateus Cunha not able to skill past Jan Couto, who is actually a right back I looked at signing. PSG never able to hold runs, and the timer's ticking. It might be 2 1-0 wins here to start off the episode with Tino Livramento. Coming inside, onto Bruno. Bruno straight forward onto Lee Kang in. Maybe we've not watched our line here, but if we have, could have been a good move. With the ball won back straight away, and I don't think I've made any substitutes here because it's been a passing game. Tried to outpass them, but here goes Brian Mbeumo. If we could score late on again. Tries to squeeze it past João Neves. And despite how good PSG are, I don't think they've been watching the clock. The Europa League winners have just beaten the Champions League ones. As here I was favouring the Community Shield, and we've actually gone and won both. Great stuff. And now we move on to the first game, Brighton, who last season started the league very well. The next fixture in 2 days. No turnaround time, as our banking issue not fixed, but I am going to go in for that player. And I think you guys might have guessed who it is. That's right, Cole Palmer, a Chelsea man, been at Manchester City, but is a United fan at heart from when he was very young, and plus Chelsea with the Blue Co. I could definitely see him wanting to move, and if we can get him for around 100 mil. And we have improved his wage significantly, so the next Bruno Fernandes replacement isn't going to be Kang In, nor Maciel, it's going to be Cole Palmer. Yes, a little bit out of the depths of realism, but we're at that point in this save. We've got to do what we've got to do to win trophies, and I think the number 20 does fit Cole Palmer. Mateus Cunha's the number 10. I don't know what to do with Ousmane. Maybe we go for a high number? Perfect. Perfect number for the world's best player. Please don't click off the video from that, as now we're going to change our team up. To this, we've got Palmer and Mbeumo, Cunha Dembele, Baleba Guimaraes, an 83 rated in defence, or should I say 2? But I'm going to trust them for now. United all about the attacks, and yes, I'm throwing Cole Palmer straight in there. I think he should be good enough. A last-minute draw with Brighton, and Palmer missing a penalty as the fans were disappointed. Or he said not disappointed. Oh dear. Well, we move on to Leicester after a point and get a 4-1 win. Cole Palmer scores here, and they did get a man sent off. Excellent. But do you know what's not excellent? The man who always gets injured. It is a 3-week injury for Tino Livramento. Will he actually stay uninjured? For maybe half a year. At least Carmona is the replacement we've got. With the hardest game of the bunch coming up, but I am going to sell a player. Jasper Walker was not their next Harry Maguire. He's going to Bolton. Going to bring through my own youth, and that is a 2-2 draw with Newcastle. We've won 2 cups, but it has us sat 8th, and the next team that we're going to play is Palmer's ex-club, Chelsea. And now we have Champions League games. Our first game's Barcelona. With Celtic in there again, AC Milan, Benfica, Bayern. Interesting, Bodo Glimt. And that is us done. All done in that run, as our youth academy just took a look at this. And it's interesting because Francisco Cardoso's been here a while. 70 rated at 18. Barcelona is just a must play, isn't it? So let's start off with the contracts on this fresh new day. Aiden Heaven, Martinez and Dugan. Captain Bruno Guimaraes definitely has to get a new deal. Lenny Yoro. And also Radek Vitek, the goalkeeper, still deciding if he wants to stay, as we've got a lot of games to get through today. I want to see the new kits. I want to see them fully in action. 2 years? 2 years out of Bruno Guimaraes, the new Bruno in town. However, no contract for Yoro. He doesn't take 100k a week on a 5-year deal. Lenny Yoro, man, he doesn't want to sign up again. Okay, it means we definitely need one of these 3 centre-backs, and I've got to go for the strongest. Leacher is actually loyal to this club. Get in there, Martinez. The Butcher signs a 2-year deal worth 180k, gets more than Yoro. And we finished last time off speaking about Cardoso, our new youth player. 18-year-old, potentially the new Ronaldo. Already used that title. On Fabio Silva, we've got Hogan to an 80 rated, Lacey in the team. Palmer I want to see play today, as let's decide which games we play in this massive run of fixtures. Well, I do think we can sim Wickham, but I don't want to go out the cups. I know we're not doing best in the league, but Barcelona got to be played. I've played so many Manchester derbies, I kind of don't want to play them. Bournemouth's a tricky fixture. away from home potentially, the San Siro as well, or even Arsenal, even Sunderland. I feel like I've played all the big games a few times, like City. I want to play some new teams. I want to see new games. And most of all, I want to score goals, as I'm going with the strongest team into Chelsea. Still think we have to be full strength in the league. It's a 2-0 win. And automated changes were made ahead of FC Barcelona. Let's not actually go out in the league phase this time round, as I'm going to make one huge change. Or two, I know Cunha scored, but I am going to put Hogan in there and also Hayden Heaven, because Yoro refused his deal. And with me, refuse pay, you don't play. At least for a little while, as this kit looks even better in game than I imagined. The white with just the red extra, phenomenally classy, as Patrick Dorgu gets a big foot to that. Dembele tries to release Cole Palmer, his first in-game game. Mark Casado is in the middle as well. Ferran Torres, that is a brilliant ball. Sané Lemons, that is a shocker. From the man that usually doesn't have them, Firmin the Vermin catches us in the box sleeping. Sané Lemons. Got to feel for him just a little bit. And Hogan, you've got to help defensively, because Dorgu's getting overrun. Lamine Yamal. Another big save. Maybe Lamine Yamal's making it look worse than it actually is, but here's Cole Palmer. First touches of the ball on this right-hand side with Brian and Burmo making the run forward, and Burmo into the box, tries to play it back. Achimapong in their defence. 9 minutes added on. Maybe he's come on with a sub. I think they did make one early on. With the pass across Carmona, we've wasted it. Completely wasted it, as that man's taking the mick. We need to put a stop to it. We need to be a lot better. Brian and Burmo. Now we need to go again. Ousmane Dembele down into Carmona, into Brian and Burmo again. If we can get Ousmane Dembele against one of his former clubs playing well, maybe we stand a chance at the start of the second half. Pass it to Ousmane. He was the player to run onto that. Brian and Burmo with a skill move. There's a lot of space out here for Jose Carmona, used to playing against these in this league before. That's the biggest chance for Manchester United. We can't forget as well, these have only scored from a mistake. There's a bit of momentum. Dorgu rises highest, and it comes off a Barcelona hand. Ex-City player Garcia. And I want this to go a bit low, Brian and Burmo. It doesn't really go low, but it does go into the back of the net. Level in the Champions League. A lot better than last year, we can say. Still, time to go out and win this away from home. We're a really good side now. There's Baleba keeping out Mainu. Just go short into Lee Kang-in. What a player. Burmo's actually come off, because I am rotating for this league form. And Hogan found a gap. Amad Diallo, gotta be better. 1-1 draw with Barcelona away from home. Definitely could be worse. And Burmo, the main man, with the man of the match. Hopefully he plays in this next game against Villa, but it is a loss. Gersand with the goal. If we're not careful, we'll get beat here by Wickham at home. As we change to our reserve side, Hogan has to get us out of trouble. Only a 2-1 win. Nottingham Forest up next. Any transfer news? I see a lot of offers coming in. Don't want to sell any of them players. With Sané Lemons, a little bit of questioning on him because he had a bit of a shocking game against Barca. Ultimately, though, he's our starter and he's not getting out of this team. In front of goal, we lack a bit of quality. Dembele with 4 in 9. And I'm sick of actually signing strikers, with Fabio Silva being the best one out of the club. Tino Livramento back in the squad for this one, chucking him straight in there with 290 rated up front. And he gets the winner. Never mind our attacking force. Great for him as a hammering to Galatasaray in the Champions League. And a win against Manchester City, who we have played so much. Got me feeling good as Cole Palmer nets his first United goal with a win against Celtic. Surely we go through in the Champions League this season. As here we are in the Sharp kit, playing Bournemouth like I said we would, because I do want to score some goals. And I wanted to see this kit in action. Beautiful. Ain't taking defeat as an option. We've got the English link-up of Livramento and Shea Lacey. Hogan on the other side. Amad rested. Amad not really playing that well, and Shea Lacey on the run here. He should have scored his first United goal to poach through as Kobe Mainu with the spin into Lee Kang-in. All the rhyming going down as Shea Lacey. That's a brilliant ball. Tino Livramento always injured, but when he's on the field, he provides. Lee Kang-in, he's in for Cole Palmer. Look at that beautiful kit. They're the low drivens I always tried with Carmona. With Dorgu, it finally takes Livramento, and it's an instant goal. Always struggling with the bloody front men as Evan Nilsson. Don't let him run straight into Tino Livramento. Shea Lacey, I want to see a little bit more. You went quiet after your first actions. Just play that simple into Hogan. Getting all the youth linking up. Sheshko round the corner. Shea Lacey tries the low driven. Brilliant save by Petrovic, and Aiden Heaven with the turn. Straight into Hogan again. Hogan into Amas. Amas intercepted. And such an opportunity to go again. That's a good tackle, Harry Amas. Another young player in this lineup. Been very good here with the academy, and Sheshko hasn't watched his line again. Forces another good save. I thought we'd be scoring goals in this game, but it just proves strikers have been dodgy for us. But it looks like we won't get it, because the game's finished. Carrick wins. But I don't feel satisfied with the way we played. We're already on a high line. Maybe advance forward isn't the one. Do we go poacher? People told me Sheshko fits it, which he doesn't, but maybe Dembele does. Lee Kang-in, well, he has to come out really, doesn't he? We can't be resting Cole Palmer. Shea Lacey good, but it's not enough. And now we go for a quarter-final against West Ham. And on penalties, after missing ourselves, West Ham lose again on pens, like they did in real life. And sorry, this is the quarter-final, Southampton. Huge opportunity for our third trophy of the season, as we don't have the best goal against record. That's Brighton's. But we do sit top of the league, with bottom up next, and then a tricky run of fixtures. Palmer's second penalty missed, and he's only got a goal. Dorgu wins it. Maybe Kang-in has to play at some point. A 1-1 draw with Lyonnais, followed up by a win against Arsenal. Get in there, a big result. Nice bit of revenge, and we get a 3-1 win against Spurs, and then a 2-0 win against Milano, but Palmer gets suspended. Can actually play away at Anfield, however. Strongest team, first versus second in the Premier League, and a rivalry. I said I wanted to play new teams, but we just, frankly, have to play this game. At this point, it's bigger than the City derby. Almost running straight through. I want to be aggressive, especially with that poacher role as Ousmane Dembele, Cole Palmer, and Burmo Mateus Cunha. They're almost all over 90. Unai Emre in charge for them, and Isaac, he was getting around us then. I committed to a one-way move. Our defence, obviously not the best. Dorgu just got run straight through. McAllister playing it around. Harvey Elliott's on their wing. If we lose this game, we go to second, so we can't lose it. The early yellow card for Brian and Burmo. I don't know where Sene Lamens is going, but Mateus Cunha on a run here, and he's around his defender. Counter-attacking opportunity with no one catching this man. He's back in for Hogan. He's going to go low. He goes himself. Gareth Bale-esque. Top of the league clash. Is he actually our striker, or am I just exaggerating how truly good he is? Opens his body up and finishes to have us back in the lead. Curtis Jones through the middle. There should be a bit of added time, and there is. There's been plenty of fouls and plenty of breaks in play. Ousmane Dembele. 3. Oh, sorry, 2. How did I forget it's only 2? 7th goal for our little joker. Number 67 gets us 2-0 up in a big game. With plenty of action still to go. And Martinez, Leacher into the corner. Baleba around it as well. Patrick Dorgu. Cunha again. Frimpong should be very fast. He actually makes the tackle for once in this game. At least we're not conceding in games. And we've made substitute. Sheshko on also. Ahmad, I think. They're trying to get across us, and they've squeezed straight through. A terrible shot in the end. Even Shea Lacey's been a little bit better, but Cole Palmer looks for Mateus Cunha, Benjamin Sheshko to kill this top of the league clash off. I think he does. 3-0 at Anfield in the favourite kit of mine right now. That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Should be an Anfield win. Consider Anfield wrapped up by Manchester United dominance. Straight into Everton after it, and a 2-1 win on Merseyside again. Cole Palmer into his own. He's finally scoring goals for United. I realise I'm getting through games thick and fast, but he's the joint highest rated player. Now with 5 goals in 19, the best player is Burmo. Potentially second season running, and the Ballon d'Or winner was Haaland. I believe so anyway, so I want him to beat him. He scores again, a big win. Then again, he's a right midfielder. Maybe Dembele takes takes home the Ballon d'Or. For the second time for us, as there we go, wins and yellow cards. For the goal scorers, another win and another Mbermo goal. Great stuff, but then in the cup game, Baleba against an ex-rival in Southampton, we don't go through in the Carabao. Disappointment and potential embarrassment on a huge stage. We could have gone and won that trophy. We don't go and win that trophy, but hopefully we do the Champions League. A 10-point gap in the Premier League, and then third in the league phase surely puts us in good stead, but I don't feel like I'm done with signings yet. As you can see, I simulated 4 more games, got us back on track after the cup upset to get us to the first, with Arsenal next, then Chesterfield, Bayern Munich, and like I said, defenders are needed. I'm not going to mess around as well. I'm going to show you guys who I've got in mind. Now, I am pixelating this out. I'm going to go for the slow reveal. Firstly, showing you, however, Garnacho's at Torino. The grass isn't always greener, my friend. Or not my friend. Probably not friends with Michael Carrick, but here we go. Here are the 2 players we are choosing from, William Pacho or Bastoni. 2 left-footed centre-backs, and the one I see more real is the lower rated of the bunch. Now, Bastoni's not rated in Italian football, especially for the mistake he just made against Bosnia. 127.9. I can't lie, is affordable, and we're going straight for it. No messing about. He looked amazing in that kit. Because we've got a league to win, and that defender should hopefully help us win it. Already joining the best defense, we are through almost in the league phase. We're essentially through, and we've got a trip to Chesterfield. Hopefully not what my club Grimsby Town did to Man United in real life happening here, as we could play Bayern Munich, but Arsenal are second in the league. We are a very different looking Man United. Focus on Bruno and Carrick. Under the lights at Old Trafford with Bassoni immediately starting and hang about. We're the home team. Now it's actually the CPU's fault. They're not changing their colours. It is not my fault for once. Cole Palmer onto Dembele. Bastoni in the back line with Baleba and Bruno Guimaraes in front. Bryan Mbeumo down this wing. The side we've built with Man United. So impressive. Maybe realistic, or unrealistic, should I say, as we should have got the shot off with Dembele. First chance in this game. Bukayo Saka, however. Back to Martin Ødegaard. If we win this, they're unfortunately 8 points behind us. As yes, the gap is already massive, and Bastoni going in for the slide. It's what he's known for at Azzurri, as here goes number 67, Dembele, cuts inside, goes for the shot. David Raya, what a save. Going short with the corner, however. Cole Palmer turns, almost, close, but not close enough. Passing a little bit scratchy. Look at that from Diamande. Needs to get back into the back line. Bastoni left on his own. Dorgu with a lot to prove. Now being by far the lowest rated player. Zubimendi over the top to Saka. Saka back to Martin Ødegaard. Bastoni's in the way again. And let's go again. Cole Palmer. Hogan still left on the bench with Cunha cutting inside. Cole Palmer, he can go down low. Another save, David Raya. Them low drivens usually do work. Cole Palmer all the way back to the edge of the box. Bastoni, if he could have an assist. Bruno Guimaraes ready to strike it. In, dare I say it, the most boring game ever, keeping us still top of the league, with Chesterfield up next. The reserve team will play, and the reserve team will get the result. Maciel. He came on for Hogan, grabbing his first Manchester United goal in them colours. Before we move on to Chelsea, getting the win with 10 men, Baleba suspended. And Mbeumo was suspended for the win against Bayern Munich, which is then kind of backed up. A 1-1 draw with Newcastle. We are really forcing that rivalry, and Bodo Glimt beat everybody, including our first fatigued team. That was the main team, yes, as we conceded a lot of goals there. Oh no, we didn't actually. The goal difference is superior. That's what I was actually looking at, and Liverpool are 10 points behind. Arsenal 9, as the most important game coming up is going to be Liverpool away in the cup. So I'm going to sim some games going up to that, see what happens in the meantime. Taking a loss in the derby, beating Sunderland, and the month before, a 1-1 draw with Brentford, the Bees. That's all fine, and definitely a bit of a kit clash, but I don't mind it with Liverpool. Definitely can tell with us having more white to the kit. Need a win here, though, to go through in the cup. Minor team changes. That's an odd back pass into Kobbie Mainoo, playing that centre-back role. And Hogan obviously into the squad. Dorgu getting a lot of minutes, potentially needing a rest at some point. Bruno get us an early lead. Amad Diallo looking for a gap here with Liverpool. Ball gets tackled, falls to Carmona. Brilliant ball. Amad Diallo tries to drag away, and he was offside anyway. What a pass, however, by Carmona as McAllister into Isak. Brilliant tackle, Bruno Guimaraes. And we go forward again. Come on. Got to be beating Bruno Guimaraes. Bastoni with a brilliant header. Amad Diallo, he was took out, and that is the run we needed. Lee Kang in though, found by his ex-PSG teammate. Lee Kang in. He nets again. What a player this man is. Making sure I still win the cup games because I want to try and get that treble. That's an excellent way of going about it. Dorgu though, into Ousmane Dembele. Hogan. Can he try and beat, I think that's Corey Gakpo or Ryan Gravenberch. And he does. Let's get to the edge of the box. Dorgu. Bruno has the space to try something. A minor injury for Amad Diallo will require Brian Mbeumo to come onto the field as Hogan. He's done one. Hogan, he's done 2, 3. I can't even count the players up because Hogan, he's unstoppable even at Anfield. The next David Beckham has his first FA Cup goal of the season. He even confused me with the running. Look at the POV, just head down, goes for goal. A brilliant strike as Diallo's off for Brian Mbeumo, like I just said. Later on into the game, Dominic Szoboszlai. Tackle, and Kobbie Mainoo to run away with the ball right here. He does have Hogan. He does have an excellent bit of speed. Dembele, Hogan, you've got to reach him. Oh, that's not good on Saliba. I think if they don't get the ball again, that's a red card. And it is only going to be a yellow. A very lucky boy after his goal is Hogan. Saliba didn't look happy as I've still got to change this team around. Fresh-faced and ready for some Premier League action. Kobbie Mainoo stays in. Over Belabor, 2 ratings lower but 2 years younger. And we've got to play Kobe. The amount of Manchester United youth we have here who I want to utilise. And that includes Liam Duggan, who doesn't see as much game time as Heaven, who's constantly starting in the squad with Cardosa, 71. If we still had a lot of seasons left, he would be playing as a 3-0 win over Burnley and a 2-1, with Bastoni actually scoring against Crystal Palace, and a draw by a Leverkusen away leg first. With the games I missed, a cup win against Spurs, getting there, putting us in a quarter-final of the FA Cup. Forest, I reckon we can win this. As long as we don't draw City, and an injury to Diamande means we have to go in Leverkusen. 3-3 draw. Before this almighty clash, and Bayer I have actually let be in their home kit. We're going to be in our away, although it is at Old Trafford. As we can pretend we're trying to sell this kit, I just want to play in something different. Let's go and get the win. 3-3 draw must have been exciting in Germany. Before, hopefully, fireworks here. Federico Di Marco getting really far forward. Mazza into Ezequiel Palacios getting around us. Hugo Ekitike, Liverpool man, had to get an interception. Bastoni still doesn't clear this. Palacios is sliding in everywhere, almost bottling it like he did for Azuri. Look at the pressure all over us, a Bayer, and they've actually won a corner. Corner ball goes in to Ekitike at the back post. Free as a bird, and Patrick Dorgu. Let's try our first attack, shall we? In towards Cole Palmer. Palmer hits Bruno Guimaraes, back into Palmer. Finesse shot outside of the box. What a catch. Not only save, and this is a tough game, but if we keep on pressing like that, we definitely still stand a chance. Cole Palmer, the ball at his feet. Look at the skill to try and get away from Alex Garcia. Does do. Forcing a corner ball, and if we can get a header to it like Ekitike did for us. Hincapié away onto Mazza. Hakimi. They've even got Hakimi. What a team. What a team. But it's still 3-3 on aggregate. Of course we get the boring one. To play in ourselves as Bruno G picks up this ball here. Bruno Guimaraes on the turn. Mateus Cunha in towards Patrick Dorgu and Bruno. Oh dear, I needed a turn. Garcia is going to release Tillman here. He's around Patrick Dorgu, around Bastoni. What a tackle. Because that was going to be a certain goal. Garcia. Palacios through onto Hugo Ekitike. If we don't win this game, we are going to massively regret it as Cole Palmer looks over the top. Dembele looking for Brian Mbeumo. Keep the pressure on. I think Cole Palmer should have had the biggest chance, or has had the biggest chance. Should have scored it. Bryan Mbeumo, that is a dodgy little touch to give Cole Palmer the ball. Lee Kang-in's got to come onto the field, same as Sheshko, same as everybody, making the changes as Cunha spins around. Dorgu's through the middle. Patrick Dorgu! Yellow card. Ex-teammate DeMarco to switch the ball in. Kobe Mainu, however. Can we just counter-attack Lee Kang-in with a beautiful ball towards Bryan Mbeumo? He crosses it first time. Sheshko, you've got to hit it. Score, my friend. Score. Bruno Guimaraes heads the ball down. Lee Kang-in. He's usually the one to clutch up. 93rd minute. His first UCL goal at Old Trafford. Squeezed through with a 1-1 draw with Villa. Following up, and this could be a short episode. Yes, we've only just signed Bastoni. But Olympique Lyonnais after Nottingham Forest in the Cup. We could leave this at Lyonnais. I think we should beat them in the first leg anyway. First of all, Forest in the Cup. Can we win this? Can we get through? 4-0 on the night. Palmer, Dembele and Mbeumo and Dorgu, who we've actually never seen score in a game because I really want to see his face scan. And that gives us Newcastle, City out, Brentford or Charlton if we beat them. With the league still on the line. Bastoni suspended, Diomande injured. I'm going to take them both out. And the first leg is a 2-0 defeat. Tessman and Fofana are going to test Man United in the next episode. 10 points clear, Manchester United. But still, that ending to last time out is going to be horrible. A deficit to overcome. I really want to get through. It should be on paper the easiest game we've got to play. Real Madrid beaten by Athletic Club, sinking their teeth further into this finale. But I want to play Lyonnais, obviously, to hopefully get through and meet Club there. We've got to play Newcastle. Looks like the league might be simulated. We've already seen a trophy lift. Depends on how we get going. You lads, I want 0, and I mean 0 injuries. Your Monday, mate, respectfully, hurry up, because you've got to be in our UCL squad. With me not throwing this game against Everton, but going considerably weaker. And pray we beat them, but they beat us, Delap with the winning goal. That's 2 defeats out of 2 now in a row, but we've got to go into this with belief. Full Manchester United team sending it against Lyonnais at Old Trafford as a 5th season with Palmer, with Dembele, with Bastoni. We should obliterate the Premier League. However, I don't want it to get to that point. They've even forgot their kit. Come on, guys. They are playing in that rough one. We've got to beat them. It's the pro club's generic one as Cole Palmer with the ball across Dembele. He's onside 3 minutes into this one. The Frenchman grabs a goal against the French outfits. That's the deficit halved with basically 9 minutes still to play. Or 9 minutes, 90 minutes. I remember the game against these two in the Europa League. I think not last season, but the season before. Here goes Rodriguez. Lemon, stay on your line. I saw you sneak in. Santriano! Good save. Sene Lemon still got to be on it himself. They've tried to foul us. And Cole Palmer, Scalvini comes out of his line. However, that is the longest advantage I have ever seen. Need the players to keep their heads and get this second goal, which should take us straight into needing just one again. Malik Fofana, brilliant player. No wonder the beaters with players like that. As Bastoni with the tackle. Livramento. Travella pass. Look at the flicks. And that is around the defender. He hung a leg out. It is Dembele. Matheus Cunha takes his time. 2-2. We've not even got going here. I panicked. For what reason? We're gonna beat Lyonnais here. I can feel it in the atmosphere, really. Old Trafford is rocking, and look at Dembele nipping in there ahead of Fofana. Dembele kind of through again. He might pass to Mbeumo. He might go himself from kickoff. The voice crack actually hurt my neck, but it is 3-2. Going into half-time, Dembele with the turnaround. Seriously, what did simming do to us? I want to lie down, but the job's not done. Our number 6-7 looking for, I think, despite all the goals we've scored, it will be our first hat-trick in game and definitely in this save with Dorgu looking for them intricate passes. Here goes Matheus Cunha. Unlucky, just unlucky. Sulch to get them away. They score, and it's level. Still got to be a bit careful. Dembele with the ball through to Cole Palmer! Post and in. 4-0. Sorry, Olympique Lyonnais. Pack up your bags, cause Ousmane and Cole Palmer have tore you apart. They stood every chance in their home nation, but they're not getting a chance. That is over the crossbar. That's a bit of part 1 done, but this is far from over. Hammering Lyonnais 4-0 does not put us straight into a finale. Still got to earn that right as we actually lose to Liverpool. Simulations, man. Costing me, as we do have Newcastle up next in a cup we can definitely win, and the Champions League knockouts. It could be Liverpool in the finale. What a finale that would actually be, but Lamine Yamal's Barca still standing in our way. Back-to-back Premier League defeats, but hopefully not our final trip to Wembley. It is going to be Newcastle in the semi-final. Always forced a rivalry because of Guimaraes, because of Livramento. Tonali at one point we were going to sign. That would have been a trio took from the Geordies. In the end, we had to settle. 14 minutes on the clock. We've settled quite nicely into this game, despite the league form taking a bit of a hit. I'd rather take the league hit and win the Champions League, with Barca needing Simin. First game up. Cunha, stay on side, please. Sandro Tonali still in their team. Cole Palmer wicking it up from their ball, or picking it up, whisking it up. Cunha down the middle. Why are we scoring goals for fun? Why is this just happening now? It's took the 4th season, and to be fair, an elite team to be playing elite football. And these games don't mean anything till we actually go and win something. And to be fair, their midfield is Tonali. Then again, Manuel Agati next to him is doing a lot of covering, and I do want to cover my players' backs for the Premier League still to be won, so I'm going to have to rest anytime soon with Tino running through. He needs to learn to pass it in a bit quicker to that near post. Here we go, though. Brilliant run by Guimaraes into Dorgu. In swinger this time towards Umbermo. And clock still ticking with Umbermo. Not a great pass at all. This could be a very nervy ending for Manchester United. I thought it would turn out like Lyonnais, with the scratchy goal we got, dispossessing them and just getting it down the middle of the goal. But still, we need the second goal to kill it off. Ousmane Dembele! Trafford in their goal. A big stop near post. Patrick Dorgu might fall here to Brian Umbermo! James Trafford, what are they feeding you? Can we finally get the second goal? Dorgu with the little header. Botman might not get a chance to run away with it. Dorgu had to take him down, and Dorgu has to play very soon. It's a good job we didn't have extra time with Sim in the first game against Barca. I just pray don't be the same thing, a fully fit team 3 days later than the Olympique Lyonnais game. It is the same thing, but this time in our favour. We've still got to go away to the Camp Nou to try and unlock Barca, as that's a 1-1 draw. League is taking a hit, as Athletic Club are beating Liverpool. Can't really laugh at that, however, because Liverpool chasing us, and we're chasing Arsenal. Funnily enough, what's happening to Arsenal in real life is happening to us here, where you can't juggle the trophies. I do want to go for the Champions League, obviously, which ends the entire series if we win it. So let's go out with a bang. Patrick Dorgu into Matheus Cunha. Cunha tries to turn out to give him it back. Run wasn't on, and Lamine Yamal's going to run us ragged today. Dorgu has to double up. And don't let them have a start like we did against Lyonnais. Slid in with Diamande. Sané Lemons. Brilliant. I thought I was chipped. I thought I was dusted. Bruno Guimaraes through to Cole Palmer. Palmer steadies away. He goes into Brian Umbermo. Tries to turn inside. If we can get a goal ourselves to clear our heads. That'll be it. Brian Umbermo. Maybe I could have actually simulated this one. I didn't want to risk it, however. And Barcelona, a team, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but we haven't signed from in this save. So they should still have their best players. Tad unfortunate that is for us, but still we keep on charging. Lamine Yamal into the middle. Bastoni comes across. Cole Palmer needs to let Dembele get onto that. Maybe they can return the favour. Look at Dembele's passing range. Cole Palmer. It's been a while since he actually scored. I need to stop the low drivens for the next series. And what are you doing, Cole Palmer? Where's the cold celebration? Let's keep going. Matheus Cunha around the side. Patrick Dorgu. Brilliant ball towards Ahmad. Joan Garcia heading it. I wouldn't have that confidence if I was you. Almost squeezing for another. But we should be through. And one thing I noticed when actually making the changes right here, Hogan is in the dark. Is it because he's been left out of the team and he's a bit angry? I don't know, but we actually face Athletic Club in the finale. We ruined a Spanish derby and they ruined Liverpool versus United. Arsenal are trying their best to try and ruin a title charge for us, so we'll simulate a few games. Mateus Cunha with the brace. And there's still a chance we've bottled this. 2-2 with Leicester City. There's still a chance we come out of today with not 3 trophies won. But the first one can be won here. We have Brentford 2 days later. Could have planned more accordingly, but Hogan's in and King Min-jae. Could have planned more accordingly. Hogan in, Kang in to hopefully lift this trophy, and we are going to go into the finale, sorry, don't you worry, in a different kit, but I do like to win something in red, so let's hope it is this cup. Front post. Can we get an early goal? Dembele! That wasn't even a driven shot. The Jude Bellingham in the 3rd minute of the finale. I think we've just caught Brentford absolutely scrambling. That is a disastrous start for them more than anything. Keith Andrews ripping out his hair with whatever's gone on there, but with Taro into Carvalho, a tackle straight away. Belabor to get running. It's Lee Kang in, stepping back. Hogan, can he get an assist or even a goal? I see what you're doing here, and a familiar face, of course it is, and Burmo used to play for the Bees. It's a good job we didn't score with him and celebrate. But here goes Dorgu, Hogan to the left-hand side. Hogan could sweaty this, but he goes himself. Had to do the low driven to make sure we scored, but I promise I will stop. Let me know in the comments below. Keep telling me. Stop with them low driven. And Mateus Cunha go with Hogan and Cardozo, is it? Or Cardozo, the Portuguese winger. Or Shea Lacey even could play. That's a good shout I forgot about. With Brian Umbermo cutting inside. Umbermo could go all the way here. No defender can touch him. Ousmane Dembele might rest him for the league. Running. That is a good save. There's chance for more goals here. We love scoring to nil, Patrick Dorgu. That's got to be a penalty, referee. But evidently thoughts can be wrong, because Manchester United 2-0 in the first half, capitalising on their mistakes. Guimaraes to lift the trophy, and let's hope there's 2 more to go. Not just 1, but 1 more game to actually play, and I think that is the nail in the coffin for one of our trophies. That seemed a given at one point, but the pressure is still on Arsenal. After a 3-2 win at Bournemouth, I think our season's done. With the Champions League graphics kicking in, we've got 90 rated all over our team, and this is the team that potentially is ending the Manchester United series. If we win the game, Ousmane Dembele with 31 goals and Buemo 27, Cole Palmer 18, Mateus Cunha 16, plenty of assists. This is a Man United without Bruno. Brilliant ratings overall. I'm going to, of course, do the summary right now with Cole Palmer, the best. A recent signing as Leandro Trossard, the top scorer in the Premiership. Mickey Moore got 20, or Mikey Moore. Voldemar well. FA Cup was won. Emirates FA Cup was won. Champions League we're just about to play, and I'm going to get rounded up on the Premier League. Please. No, we haven't done it. On goal difference as well. Arsenal tried everything to bottle. Isak the player of the tournament. I don't care about the other competitions, just winning this one against a team with Gurazeta still up front. And Iñaki Williams as the stadium. If you've kept up with this series, I'll let you into a little sneak peek. This stadium won't be the last time you see it recent. All I'll say is we've got another series/movie coming up involving the team that play their home games here. Guimaraes. I'm just realising, bottom left of the screen, Fabio Silva, on loan from us, is playing for Athletic Club, and he must have carried them to a finale really mixed emotion-wise, because he gets a trophy or a medal nevertheless. Being from Manchester United, Mateus Cunha onto Cole Palmer, and Buemo is offside. We need to just get going that bit quicker as they're trying to weather the storm. We usually start off quick, then just see out the game. Not starting very quick in this one. Mateus Cunha, he has Dorgu on the outside. Cole Palmer bullied off the ball. Bullied, I say. Sweaty palms. Sweaty palms. Really uneventful UCL. And that's always got that worry in it, because our substitutions always make the team worse, and we should be realistically winning or hammering Bilbao by now, so the fact they are hanging on gives them more chance to win this by the second. Still, if we get a run off here, Cole Palmer into Dembele. Ousmane Dembele, try the skill move that I love. What a save, Diogo Costa. I've got to go and get my clutch players. I've got to go and make them subs. Lee Kang in and Hogan. Tino Livramento just not keeping the ball well enough. Here they come, the cavalry. Kang in and Hogan, please win us this game. There's Bruno Guimaraes. Lee Kang in. Can he have an instant impact? Brian Mbeumo. Dembele is the target, but I can't really reach it, and I'm not going to force it. But there we go. He's found a gap. Simikan not close enough. Ousmane Dembele might have scored the goal to win Man United the Champions League. Fine finish. I think it was just one of them toe pegs that certain players in this game just know how to do against one of his fellow French teammates, Simikan. And Mawissa in that defence. Hogan didn't have to get involved. Lee Kang in did in that move. Please don't bottle this one. They're going to go ultra-attacking. Tino Livramento with a big gamble. It's a good job Diamande's across. Brilliant tackle. Get us away. Ousmane, he's tried a flare pass, just like Ryan Cherky would in a big finale. And here goes Ousmane Dembele again, driving into the box, looking for the wrong pass. Keep the pressure on them. And we win this game, which we do. Manchester United, after signing so many good players, being so patient with it. Win the Champions League, as I've already got the next save planned, but if you do think in the future we should go to a certain team, let me know in the comments below. I'll try a community post on who you guys want to be the player of this save, because it's honestly been a brilliant save. Enjoyed every single minute of it. And if you want Manchester United to return in FC27 or even before that, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching.